Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
My taxes this year? Never did that before. And I'm not trying to sound like a tax cheat either. I've always filed my taxes, but all the other years the government was like, ooh, it looks like you need this. In fact, here's a little extra. We're worried about you.
I used to work making minimum wage, came up to about $200 a week, and then they would take out $50 in taxes. That's a lot of money if you only make $200 a week, man. That's like kicking Wednesday and Thursday and the okay? I hate the fact they put two amounts of money on your check. You know what I mean? It's like, this the money you bust your ass all week for, and this what you gonna get. Social Security. They should ask you if you want to take that, huh? A man should come to your job and say, dude, would you like us to save money for you when you get old? Nah, I want to spend it now.
You look at those morons. I paid my taxes over a year ago.
This day we all get the crap scared out of us by bloodsucking vampires. Tax day.
Showtime.
Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. Today is tax day. I guess go ahead and react accordingly.
I'm waiting to the last second to pay. Usually I like to get things over with pretty quick, but this year I decided, no, I'm going to wait.
Really?
I'm tired of it.
I always wait.
Do you?
Oh, heck yeah.
Huh. That doesn't sound like you, Josh.
Well, that's like I said. This has never been a thing for me. I've never once waited to the last second. But
There's no strategy behind it. You just figured, hey, look, I've been hopping on this early my whole life. Just once. I'm going to wait till the last minute just because I can.
Well, not even necessarily just because I can, just because I need the cash up until I have to get rid of the cash. So today's the day I scheduled it. You can schedule it online. So
Good
at some point it'll be coming out today.
Good for you for doing it all at once. I've made payment plans for the last 3 years.
So, interesting. You've scheduled your payment. You've never waited this long before to pay your taxes.
No.
So, in a way, despite your reckless attitude, you're still quite organized.
Yeah, I suppose.
You have a scheduled payment.
Well, I scheduled it a long time ago, so I guess usually I would just hit the send thing, but instead this year I'm like, they let me do it up until April 15th. I'm just going to go for it.
Today's the deadline, tax day. Scary for some. Are you scared, Josh?
Well, I've already been audited.
You shouldn't be because you're on scare tactics.
Oh, my gosh, you got me.
I got him again.
What's her name again? You got me, girl from 90210, who sadly passed.
Oh, right. Shannon Doherty used to be the...
Yeah.
All right,
I've been audited, so I at this point, I've already been through it once. The horror of getting that letter in the mail is gone. I mean, it wouldn't be pleasant. It's a very unpleasant experience.
The sumbitch got audited.
Yeah, it was a cluster F, kind of like the start of this show. I mean, it went on for 2 years. So many things went on their end. It was screwed up from the get-go, and eventually I got an apology letter from one of the managers or whatever you want to say for how they handled it. It was just such a mess, but I still had to pay a bad record-keeping fee. That's all I had. I mean, they decided, oh, yeah, he's good.
Bad record-keeping fee.
And it's because my hard drive died. They needed some information, and, they're thinking, oh, right, your hard drive died. What amazing coincidence that we're in the middle of this, IRS investigation, whatever it is, audit. And so I went to there's a company here that it's like out of a movie where they have a clean room. They get in like the white clean suit, and then they go in to take your hard drive apart to make sure they can extract whatever information. I think it was in Eden Prairie. And I called this guy, and he couldn't have been nicer. And he's like, listen, whatever you're going to have to pay this fine, it's going to cost me or you more for me to try and take out all your information off this drive. He's like, and I might not even get the right stuff.
What a process.
Yeah, so because my hard drive failed, I mean, two things. I had to get my computer fixed, which wasn't cheap, and then I had to pay that record-keeping fee.
I've never been nervous about getting audited until I found out that the straightest by-the-book guy I know got audited, and it was a 2-year process.
Right, dude? Same here.
That terrified me when I first heard that story, Josh.
Well, and I thought it was like for people, high-income earners that get these random audits, but that's not the case. It was just a random audit is what my tax lady said.
And I always thought it was the people that were kind of doing those kind of shady loopholes, like, oh, I can write this off, I can write that off. That was technically a business expense. I always thought it was those people that had the issues.
I mean,
yeah, that's what I always thought, too.
It was...
No weird write-offs, nothing.
It was so... It was so interesting, frustrating, watching you go through that. Here they picked on the straightest laced cat in town. And you usually are so effing organized, but yet this, like you just explained, this hard drive gives way on you.
It's just the worst timing.
Makes you appear to look shady when you are absolutely the opposite of that. I know we've talked about it, once or twice, but watching you go through that was painful. Every day you looked ill.
Oh, yeah, I lost some weight.
You
big
were
time.
stressed beyond what most folks could handle. What a friggin' joke that was.
Well, and I knew I didn't do anything wrong.
No.
But, I have a tax lady, and I thought, did she do anything creative? I would assume she'd tell me. Mm-hmm. But, I had so many things going on at that time. We lost a loved one unexpectedly, far too young, far too early, and things like that, I was a little distracted by that, and I think that helped. As terrible as it is, there was just so many things that happened at once. I couldn't focus totally on this IRS.
Whether they be good or bad things going on, at least they were a distraction from this audit. Yeah, you looked like a down-and-out drug addict every day. Walking into the building, sitting here, you looked gaunt. There was no life in your eyes. Going through hell. What a friggin' riot. I mean that in the negative sense of the word, that situation was.
Oh, man, there's a few people texting in that had it worse. Postal Mechanic Jesus said 3 audits because he forgot to sign a return one time.
Oh,
okay, here's
terrifying.
Another person. I got audited once. At the time, I was making like $30,000, married, 2 kids. It was ridiculous. We want to know, don't you have anything better to do? Well, that's the thing. So, you think about that, right? You have a normal or maybe below normal income. How much money are they going to squeeze out of you? Maybe if you haven't paid taxes your entire life, something like that. But how much money are they really going to get?
I wonder that, too. I'm like, why am I paying in? Do you think I have the money to give you any extra? You just saw my taxes. What are you thinking? But I would be, I think, much more afraid of getting audited because, Josh, you have somebody that does your taxes. I just do them myself on, one of those apps. And so if they audited me, I'd be like, I probably did something wrong. I just follow whatever prompts they tell me to do and hope it's good enough every year.
The most interesting side note to Josh's adventure with the Internal Revenue Service years ago, the most interesting side note was that while he was being audited, this is what you were told, right? There was an agent listening into our radio show to see if you were going to give away any information that they could use against you.
Man.
Yeah, like if I said, we're going up to the cabin this week, or can't wait to take the boat out on Lake Minnetonka, something like that, where they say, wait a minute, he claims he only makes this. How could he possibly afford that?
Right.
And my tax lady said, one of the first things she said is, do not talk to anybody, meaning from the IRS. Don't talk to anybody. They'll screw you up one way or the other. You'll say something, right? And the other thing she said is she's had clients who were audited, and that my antenna goes up at that point going, wait a minute, how many people do you get audited, right? Maybe I got the wrong tax lady. But she said she's had clients where they were selling a home, and this is according to her. I have no idea how true this stuff is. But they were selling a home, and then there'd be agents from the IRS who would pretend to be a couple and they'd show up at the house and go around and go, well, that's a pretty big TV for their income, that kind of thing. That couch looks expensive.
Dang.
It's like covert special agent type stuff right there.
Yeah.
Going undercover to keep an eye on folks.
I'm assuming she knows what she's talking about, but that's some stuff she was telling me.
Yeah, they were listening into the radio show. Hopefully they got a few laughs out of it, but they were listening into the radio show.
Yeah, maybe we got a new Jesus or Sheezus out there.
Listening to every word that came out of Cubby's yap to see if they could catch him in a lie while they were auditing him. And again, you were a mess. It was tough to watch.
But you didn't mean not to, Jesus said. He had a bunch of family photos on a hard drive that crashed. His wife was crying. He paid $2,000 to have it looked at in hopes they might recover the photos. And they got a box of parts back because the platers were scratched and the data was unrecoverable. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, that was what the guy told me. He just said, listen, it's going to cost, just to open this thing up, it's going to cost you $600.
Jeez.
So he said it's not, and it could get into the thousands if it gets complicated. So he just said it's not worth it.
Unbelievable. I just got done saying, the IRS was barking up the wrong tree. Here's Josh, straight-laced as they come, and they were treating you like you were shady when you are the absolute opposite. Another brick in the wall, Jesus says. It's always the ones you think you know well that are the shadiest. I think Josh might be the exception here. He thinks you might be crooked.
If the IRS is listening, I was discussing this with a pal on my new yacht on Lake Minnetonka. One of 3 added to my fleet. Oh, geez, Jesus said the auditor needed to audit someone that year, and they chose you because they knew they wouldn't find anything. They were being lazy. Well, so
oh, yeah?
Part of what made it a cluster F is it was this guy, the guy that, however random it was, the guy that went after me first was brand new. And my tax lady's like, he's really trying to make a name for himself, right? By just sticking it to the first audit, the first audit he has.
Okay.
And then he gets fired for all the times he screwed up and being too aggressive. They fire him and they assign me another person. And then that person goes out on maternity leave. So this is why it dragged on.
Jeez.
So then they had another person take over. So on the third person, finally I wrote a letter which was basically a white flag to the IRS and said, I give up. Whatever you need. Just, I can't do this anymore.
Really? Honestly, the first guy who came after you was fired for being too aggressive with you?
Yeah, they didn't give me all the details, but this is all coming from my tax lady.
Okay,
right? He was screwing things up. He was a nightmare to deal with. They let him go.
That's also very interesting that this one of our listeners just texted in and said they were picking on you because they knew they wouldn't find anything. They were just being lazy. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know, how any of this works. It's called a random audit.
Yeah, I got to do an audit. Let me pick on this guy, But odds are he's straighter than a Grizzlies D, but I do have to do my job, so let me go ahead with this. It's an interesting twist on it.
They went back 3 years and wanted explanations for certain purchases. I mean, like I said, it was just normal people stuff. So I have no idea how that works out. But
no,
I'd prefer not to deal with that again if possible.
Yeah. I believe you. I believe you after watching you go through it. Money. Some say the root of all evil. I guess that's why we're such nice people around here.
Well, they say just wait until somebody passes that has money or there's the illusion that they have money. In your family, you might learn something about a couple people. And I thought, no, not my family. No way. No way. They're good people.
Well, first off, they don't have any money.
Well, there was one.
That's all it takes,
we
right?
We called Uncle Wallet. And
Did you really call him Uncle Wallet?
Yeah, that was his nickname. And because he treated everyone so well, right? And he worked his whole life working his ass off. He worked for Coke. He was out there putting in lines and painting machines back in the day and stuff like that. He did that for his whole life. And he was a bachelor, right? And he was very frugal with how he lived. So everyone thought he had all this money. And when he passed, it turned out he didn't. But before folks knew that, there were squabbles. There's family members that still don't talk to this day.
Oh, man.
It was really disappointing.
All it takes is one family member with a few bucks in their pocket. And then they check out. And, in some cases, all hell can cut loose and relationships are severed forever. Uncle Wallet, huh?
Uncle Wallet, one of the greatest guys I've ever known. And it was disgraceful.
Ain't that the
how
truth?
people acted afterwards.
You're right. That's how it works. Wait for a rich relative to die and brace yourselves, because it might happen to your family. I just had a phone conversation a while back with an old friend who had a parent recently pass, and I was just checking in on him. How you been? How's your family holding it together? And he told me that, and this family always appeared to be very close and a loose-knit group, but he told me that since his parent passed, there'd been some squabbles, and there was one member of his family that he was no longer talking to. It can happen to you. You might think you guys are all cool and everything's cool. We're a real loose-knit group, our family. If something like that comes along, a rich relative or parent dies, and you'll see folks change.
That is very true. Again, like I said, I never, you could have told me that over and over and over again before it happened, and I wouldn't believe a word you said. I would think, dude, drop it. There's no way. But yeah, there's a way. Only in America, Jesus said he got audited 15 years ago, and it was such a pain. I knew I did everything correct, but almost chose prison over the paperwork.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
maybe that's part of what they're doing, right? They're beating you down. Like I said, I waved the white flag. Like, I don't care anymore at this point. Whatever you got to do, just let's get it over with.
You squabbled a little bit. Well, more than a little bit. It lasted 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
F me. I might choose prison over paperwork. I hate paperwork.
It sucks.
Then again, I imagine I would not enjoy prison, but I get it. Uncle Wallet. Poor bastard.
Yeah,
he has no idea the trouble that he started.
No,
by simply passing away.
And the type of life he had, meaning like he cared way more about other people than himself. He, like I said, he lived very, very frugally, but he helped my sister pay for college. He bought me like my first guitar and some guitar stuff. He supported us all in different ways, what we were into. He bought his sister a car. He took care of people financially. And he just lived frugally, but he didn't have this big nest egg at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because he had spent most of it on other people. And then people acted like morons afterwards.
Right. Here's a guy who did all those wonderful things, and when he passes, people turned into animals. Something that Uncle Wallet never would have supported that type of a thing.
I get afraid of that. Not that my parents have a lot of money, but they have some assets. And I have a lot of siblings, and the majority of them are not the greatest people in the world. Oh! And my mom would stress about that all the time.
Oh, it's coming.
Well, she made it where I'm in charge of everything. She's like, you're the only one that I can trust that's going to be fair and not crazy about this. You're not just going to sell all our stuff for drugs or something like that. So
the rest of them a little squirrely. I can trust you, she said.
You take care of this, Ashley.
Oh, wow.
That executor position, that's a pain in the butt, too. You better be ready for that.
Jesus, balls, what a nightmare.
Eastbound at sundown, Jesus said, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but your mom also works for Coke. I don't know what you're talking about. She works for the church.
God dang. Jeez. All right.
I thought we were friends.
Isn't tax day also known for the furniture stores all have blowouts, right? Or am I thinking of a different holiday?
Like President's Day is a big one.
Oh, that's the one. That's where I got.
Memorial Day, Labor Day.
Okay, that's where I got lost.
Oh, I wish I could use some new furniture.
Well, the reason I thought that, but that's not something I would ever pay attention to. Hey, which holidays have the best deals on furniture? That I'm not built for that. But I got a text message from Scaffolding Chibas, and it led me to believe that maybe tax day had something to do with sales at furniture stores. So I guess I don't know the motivation as to why he sent this text message, but I found it to be so funny. He said he was furniture shopping with his wife, and there the two of them were standing by a bed. Okay, so he was facing his wife. Her back was to a bed that they were shopping for, possibly preparing to buy. And it just came over him. He shouted, this is Sparta, and he kicked her onto the bed.
Oh, my God.
I've been in moods like that where it's just weird and you just want to knock somebody over.
You follow
not out of anger.
Isn't that something? He said he was the only one in the whole store who was laughing.
Isn't Sparta a bed brand?
Oh, yeah. Maybe that has something.
Or a mattress brand?
So I thought he was sending me that message because today is, known for big furniture, but I guess maybe Josh cleared it up. President's Day, Memorial Day. Great story. That's very funny. If I would have been working at that furniture store, I'd have been laughing my nuts off.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I remember that scene. This is Sparta. He kicks that sumbitch down into the pit, and then the war of 1812 or whatever it was started between the Spartans and the other crowd. Sure, I saw the movie. Oh, so there you go.
Oh, Serta. That's the mattress.
Oh,
not Sparta.
Yes,
Close.
yep.
Yeah, that takes a lot of the punch out of the movie, doesn't it? This is Serta.
This just lands nicely on a perfect mattress.
It sounded right to me, Josh.
I got to study up on my mattresses.
Oh, no, you're doing all right.
What a dummy. Some people are saying there's certain stores where they'll double your tax return on a discount.
Oh, that's pretty slick.
That sounds very confusing. Slick is not the word that I would use there. They do what now?
They'll double your tax return. So let's say you get $1,000 back.
Yeah.
$2,000 off.
And then you take it in there and they'll...
How much for
sweet.
2 of my friends? Yay.
Yay, we can buy 3 mattresses. Oh, well, some people ask me why I talk so dirty, Josh. Mm-hmm. I always tell them it's because my family has money.
That'll get you out of trouble.
What movie, Slapshot? When I was a kid, I was very jealous of the kids that came from money. Not that I acted out around them or treated them badly, because most of my best pals came from rich families.
Same here.
But I was very jealous of them.
Yeah, same here.
Meaning, like, say, I never showed it. But, like, say, an example is when I'd go to bed at night, I would dream that I was living in their home. You know what I mean? Well, you know what do you mean? Whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
I guess I wouldn't go. I didn't go that far when I was a kid.
Dream isn't the word. Fantasize. You never fantasized. But our backgrounds are different. But what I'm saying is, when I'd lay down in bed at night, I would fantasize that I had their house with a big bedroom and a 2-car garage and a this and that, and upstairs and downstairs, multiple rooms, a pool table, things like that. That's what I mean.
Maybe I always tried to block it out for the most part so that I didn't get too sad. But I do remember when I was younger, I went to my friend's cabin, and it was the first time I ever went to a cabin. I was so excited. And her cabin was nicer than my house. It was 4 times the size of my house, and that's the moment when I realized people live much different lives. I thought, what? I was just in awe the whole entire weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a similar experience where I thought, how do you call this a cabin? This is not a cabin. This is a resort mansion.
Right? And Josh, did you have the same experience where I thought, why don't you live here? Why do you even have another house? You should just live here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I grew up in a situation where my dad had a little fishing shack up north, but it was a shoebox. Once we got older, you make less and less trips. You have less and less time. But I loved that spot when we were young, all the way up until, Christ, I was damn near 40, maybe over 40, when we stopped going up there. But now, so I did love that experience and having that cabin. We had a lot of great times up there. But now, it would have to be the greatest deal in the world, Josh, to get me to want to try and manage 2 separate places.
Oh, I know.
So
I'm with you on that.
The cabin thing, like I said, when I was around 40 or so, I can't quite remember. We stopped going up north. Everyone got old. Everyone got busy. Everyone got real lives, and you just don't have the time anymore. I remember missing it at first, And then people would say, well, would you ever want to get another cabin? Would you ever want to get involved in that? And there was a stretch of time where I said, yeah, I miss it. I want it. You would have to be the greatest salesman in the world to talk me into it now, because I would have absolutely no interest in trying to manage 2 separate places. It's a great situation if you can handle it.
Yeah, and if you are able to use it, right?
Exactly.
Like you said, I mean, you get so busy, I don't know how often we'd use it at all.
Right.
And it would have to be, a relatively decent, the drive couldn't be too far. Like under 3 hours probably, to be realistic for us to go.
The one we used to go to was near 5 hour drive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So
I'd have a hard time justifying it, unless you're going literally every single weekend.
So it's kind of like a boat. It's better to have a friend with a boat than your own.
Yeah.
It's better to have a friend with a cabin than your own.
Oh,
and,
no.
and I am lucky that one of my best pals has a joint, and it's not too far away, and we go there a couple times a year, and that's enough for me.
And if you got the money and time, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But you don't really need to do that anymore with so many different ways to rent a cabin, and so many varieties that you can get too.
One of my pals got a place a few hours, about 3 hours up north, and I'll call him in the summer on the weekends, and he'll answer, and he's almost always on the roof of his cabin or on somewhere on his cabin's property, undertaking some horrible job.
That sucks. Dude, that's so true.
And he has 3 able-bodied sons. And I always say, when it comes time to do this and that, where the hell are your sons? And he says, yeah, they all mysteriously disappeared.
I wouldn't even want to put the dock in.
As soon as he puts a hammer in his hand and a tool belt around his waist, he says, his sons, they scatter. Poof. Gone.
Speaking to that point from up at the crack of dawn, Jesus said, I own a cabin. You're constantly working. Do chores in the cities, then head up north for the weekend. Do chores there, too.
Yeah. So there was a time when I thought, I want that life back. I miss those old days of going up north to fish and F off. But now, I think you'd have to hold me down and force me to sign that mortgage or whatever the word might be, because hell no.
Here's some advice. Just rent a storage unit, plant some trees around it, and add a hot tub. Hey, people use those retired shipping containers to make houses and all kinds of cool
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
You can get one of those.
I've always wanted to just buy some land and then have one of those fancy ice castles. So then I can put that on there, then take it fishing, do whatever I want with it.
That's a good solution.
Yeah.
If that's the life you want. Yeah, buy one of those ice castles. You can use it all year round. Oh, I just hit my face on the microphone.
Gosh, those are nice, too. Some of them are just so
They're very expensive, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in a couple where I thought this is nicer than my house.
Yeah.
Seriously.
A lot of friggin' money. Helicopter fixerer Jesus agrees with the conversation. He says...
it's a sheezus.
I'm sorry, sheezus. I live in Monticello. My in-laws' place is in War Road. That's way too far.
Oh, yeah.
Friggin' War Road.
I mean, shoot, some of those sheds outside of Home Depot, I could live in one of those
What
things.
the hell?
Easy.
Yeah, I watch those tiny house shows on whatever channel that is. I'm like, I can see myself shacking up in that.
You're too big for a tiny house.
That is a good point.
Yeah, that's the downside. You're too tall, Dana.
Yeah,
Get
you'd
shorter.
be miserable. You'd be miserable in a tiny house.
Tax day. I'll be damned. All right. A little bit later on, I think Willi Myles has threatened to stop by.
Yeah, he's going to show up today.
Willi Myles. World-class entertainer. Willi Myles. Randy Shaver will be all up in here about 7:30.
Glenn Perkins, too?
Same time, we're going to talk to Glenn Perkins about the miserable finish.
We might need to have him give us a list of alternate topics he's cool talking about this baseball season.
I think Glenn is wide open to anything, but the Twins are it's just miserable right now. And speaking of Rocco, I read
every year, right? The last couple of years, he's on the hot seat.
That gets tired, because...
But it seems legit.
It gets reported over and over and over again. They have a little bump in the road, and everyone, this is it for Rocco. But this is not a bump in the road. This is one of the worst starts in franchise history. So, now, sadly, because I like the guy, there is some merit, if that's the word, to that Rocco on the hot seat talk. I don't want to see it happen, but they're struggling. So we'll drag something out of Glenn Perkins. We will. So thank you for joining us. We'll take a little break, and we'll come back with the stupid news here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Idly ho, neighborinos.
93X.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
This is Women's Work with Nicole Khalil.
I wish you health, physical, mental, emotional, financial, social, and most definitely spiritual.
Redefining what it means to be doing women's work.
I would rather have the temporary pain of discomfort than the avoidable pain of regret.
But hear me when I say this. Believe in something. Believe in yourself. That, more than anything, is absolutely woman's work.
This is Woman's Work from Believe. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Earlier on this morning, we got to talking about monies. Today is what they call tax day, after all. Monies. Some of us have it. Most of us don't. Here's a listener who texted in to say, I was so poor growing up, we couldn't afford a dog. So anytime someone drove up the driveway, my brothers and sisters and I had to take turns barking.
I got a highway puppy because we couldn't afford a dog. There was my dad's coworker found a bunch of black lab puppies on the side of the highway and asked my dad, hey, do you want one of these?
Is that
Perfect.
right?
Yeah, he turned out to be a pretty good dog, too.
Oh, I had one more text message on money. Josh was talking about a rich uncle that he had back in the day. Poor guy died. They nicknamed him Uncle Wallet because he had a few bucks. Listener said, speaking of wallets, I got a wallet made from foreskin. If you rub it, it looks like a briefcase. Turns into a...
Gross.
Very.
Ricky Medlock was in Big Blackfoot, wasn't he, Josh? Ricky Medlock, who ended up in Leonard Skinner.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know them.
Yes, I do.
Oh, I've heard of them. Leonard Skinner. Oh, stop giving Nick dirty looks from across the board.
They sell their T-shirts at Target.
I always thought that Ricky had a cool look to him.
Yeah, he's a cool-looking guy.
Tall, dark, handsome, long, cool, blonde hair.
I'll tell you what.
Maybe blonde's not even the right word, almost whitish.
On my way home today, I'm going to put that song on in its entirety. Highway song, Blackfoot. All right, stupid news. We love cute names round these parts, especially if they're real. Let's begin today's stupid news with an unusual real name. And the name is Edward Cocaine. A dude from the miserable, awful, unlivable alligator state down there.
No, that makes sense.
But he belongs there. Yeah. A dude by the name of Ed Cocaine. If he were a friend of mine, I think I'd take to calling him Eddie Blows or maybe Booger, which would, of course, be short for Booger Sugar. That's if he were a friend of mine. I'd like to give him a cute nickname. Yeah, there's a dude named Eddie Cocaine out there. And even though the cops don't suspect he was high, a night or two ago, he was acting like he was on cocaine at a neighborhood Subway. He decided to get all uppity at the neighborhood sandwich shop. Don't you know? Eddie Cocaine is 45 years old, apparently still acting like an angry teenage kid. Cocaine and a friend of his, they went on into the Subway restaurant, and Mr. Cocaine, with all his attitude, it says here, he felt he was being treated rudely by the Subway employees. All right? Now, Cocaine's friend, likely very embarrassed by Eddie Cocaine's behavior, wanted them to leave. But Mr. Cocaine wanted the Subway folks to, and here we go, are you ready for the cliche slogan of the derelicts of the world? Mr. Cocaine wanted the Subway folks to, quote, show him some respect, which is one of my favorite gimmicks of the last 30 years or so. The "you're disrespecting me" bit. Of course, long time ago, respect was earned. Josh, you remember in those days when respect was earned?
Sure. I definitely remember that.
Now people who act like absolute anuses think they can still demand the, quote, respect that they deserve.
Well, it's not really respect they're after. It's special treatment. That's the difference. So you'd pay people respect just out of being a respectful person. But yeah, special treatment would be earned. And in this case, it seems like that's what folks are really looking for.
Hilarious.
They're more special than everyone else.
Yes. Very funny bit. So anyways, back to Ed Cocaine. And that is his real name if you're just joining us. He thought he was being dissed by the workers at his local Subway sandwich shop. And by the way, these are people who are trying to work. They don't have the time to make sure everyone in the room's feelings haven't been fractured in some way. Hi, welcome to Subway. I respect you as a person. What can I get you?
Respectfully.
Right? They are working. They don't have time to pay attention to everyone's feelings in the room. So friggin' stupid. So, Eddie Cocaine was feeling so dissed that he barged his way into an employees-only area. He grabbed a sandwich-making knife and raised it above his empty head as if someone or another was about to get stabbed up. Luckily, Cocaine's friend restrained him, and the two of them upped and left the restaurant.
Did you work at a Subway, Ashley?
Yes, I did.
Why are those knives multicolored? The handles. Is there a special... Just for no real reason? You have a look on your face like there's no reason.
No, there's no reason. I was thinking about maybe there was something I missed, but no, I don't.
It was a very important, don't use the red knife on this type of sandwich?
No, I don't believe there was a difference, not that I can remember.
You noticed that, huh, Josh? I've never noticed that.
Well, I'm a regular Subway goer. Although I'm going to stop because I don't feel they're giving me the respect I deserve.
Stand up for yourself, man.
I love it. By the way,
stand.
Outdoor Weed Jesus has texted in this guy, Eddie Cocaine. Is it cocaine with a K or cocaine with a C? It's cocaine with a C. It's just like you see it in the papers. Using some of that surveillance video, cops identified Ed Cocaine and his pal. So Ed grabbed the knife, acted like he was going to stab someone. His friend restrained him. They leave the restaurant. Cops look at the surveillance video, and they identified both of them. And now you're not going to believe this now. Eddie Cocaine's pal goes by the last name of Strippers. Cocaine and Strippers. The perfect combination. I'm kidding. I have no idea what the other guy's name is. I'm kidding. Edward Cocaine is off to court now, and I'd say it's very likely that he's not going to be seen around town for quite a while.
He's probably got a bit of a rap sheet. I mean, if your name is Edward Cocaine, society might expect a certain level of trouble out of you.
I love that. He's 45 years old. 45 years old, still walking into his neighborhood sandwich shop and worried if people are respecting him to a proper level. Get over yourself.
This dude is bad news. And if you got bad news, you want to kick them blues, cocaine. When your day is done and you want to run, cocaine.
It should be a song.
It should be a song. That's kind of the way the diarrhea song goes.
Oh, yeah, the same kind of cadence.
When you're sliding into first and you feel a sudden burst, diarrhea.
Yeah.
If your day is gone and you want to ride on, cocaine.
If you want to ride on cocaine. Old Eric Clapton with that one, right, Cubby?
Yep.
I remember hearing that for the first time in hockey.
Guitar.
Heard that for the first time in the hockey locker room when I was like a fourth grade kid. And I thought, no kidding. They just upped and sang a song about cocaine.
Ashley, you did miss a training session.
Yeah, I'm seeing that right now. Oh, my gosh.
I was going to say, there has to be a reason.
I assumed there was, but I thought, well, maybe you just it's just for whimsy. Here's some fun colors that you buy them in a pack.
Yeah.
It's like a crazy straw. It's like a regular straw, but crazy.
That's pretty funny.
So what's happening?
I had asked Ashley, if you're just tuning in, she worked at Subway, and I asked, well, is there a reason why the knives at Subway are different colors? The handles are fun colors, right?
Huh.
There's a rainbow of colors.
Sure.
And she said, no, I don't think so unless I missed something. Well, she did miss something.
Something pretty big.
Yeah, a lot of people have texted in and said, okay, there is a reason. Knives, the red ones are for meat sandwiches. The green ones are vegetarian.
Yeah, nope, I never did that.
Oh, I love it.
So you were...
Also, not to cross-contaminate certain sandwiches for allergies.
Yeah, Ashley just gave somebody the worst bout of food poisoning of all time.
Allie,
makes it worse is that I worked at 2 different Subways, so I missed that training twice.
You killed a lot of people.
Oh, no.
A lot of people with food allergies died on your watch.
Oh, that was one of my favorite jobs, though. That was so much fun. I loved that. And then you get a free sandwich or a free 6-inch when you would work. And, that was so fun making your own creation.
Did you insist that your friends call you a sandwich artist?
Oh, heck yeah.
Wait, you have to earn that, right? Don't you have to earn?
Oh, I just thought that's just what they called all their employees, as sandwich artists.
Yeah, I was just called one when I was hired.
Oh, were you? Yeah. Oh, then my buddy lied to me. He worked there and said, no. There's a certain level of achievement you have to have. And he was dead serious about it.
Maybe their store was different. They had certain tiers you had to get to.
Would you say that you were quite skilled?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you say you were generous?
Yes.
Okay.
Respectful?
Oh, always. I always made sure I was generous because I didn't want to get yelled at.
Because I'll say this, there's no one that I love more than a skilled and generous sandwich maker. You know what I'm saying? You go to a sandwich shop and sometimes you get the guy that, he only wants to sprinkle a little bit of lettuce on there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you get the guy that, he only wants to put a couple pickles on there. When you can find a skilled and generous sandwich maker, I'll be damned. I'd take a bullet for those sumbitches.
There are times like you go to Chipotle and I'll look at somebody and go, does that person understand what I mean when I say double meat? I'd say I'm about 70% accurate, where I'm like, yeah, that guy knows exactly what I'm talking about. Other people, they don't necessarily understand it. So I wonder, in their personal life, if they're double meating themselves, if that's what they'd give them, or if they just don't really care what I have to say.
I don't know how to make a great sandwich. I don't. And I don't want to make my own sandwich. So when I come across an employee who really does it right, I got a lot of respect for those people, a lot of love and respect for those people. You make our days. You do. You make my day.
Layoffs are pretty common now in every business, especially around here, as we know. So once it happens to me, I'd like to work at a Subway or something like that. I think that'd be kind of a fun job. And
I'm sure have the shirt.
I bet you'd be great at it, Josh.
I'd love the challenge.
You'd be great at it.
Oh, geez, Jesus said he once called his wife a sandwich artist, and now he's sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
My favorite sandwich person story was I was out a couple summers ago walking through town. I see a guy walking towards me. He looks familiar, and I realize, it's the guy from Potbelly's. And as we get closer to him, he looks up at me, he sees me, he smiles, he goes, "Hey, large Italian on white, extra hot peppers." I go, "Yeah, that's me, man. That's me."
Aw,
felt like such a big shot.
That would make me feel good.
I've heard that before, that people that work in like fast food or something where you might see someone commonly, they'll remember you in your order maybe more than you'd even remember them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Same trait.
Yeah. Okay. So
how do I say this? That's also the trait of a great bartender.
My wife was like that when she was a server. She worked like at bars and stuff. She would remember people's drinks. She was really good about that.
Great
Take
bartender.
pride in that.
Slept with a lot of guys there too. This person says, I think when you complete Subway University's training videos, that's when you officially become an artist. Well, that's kind of what my buddy had told me. Maybe things have changed.
Better than Dana at Mario Kart. Jesus texted in to ask me, didn't I once get yelled at a Subway restaurant for going there too often? Yes, I did. To this day, I don't know why the guy... Well, I think I have a decent idea. The guy was just overworked and underpaid and having a bad day. And yes, I would go into the same Subway, I don't know, once a week. And I would order the same sandwich. And one day I walked in and I said, I'll take the... He goes, yeah, I know, the large meatball, whatever. Why don't you come back here and make it yourself? You're in here so friggin' often. And I kind of looked behind me and I said, what the hell's wrong with you? He had a bad day.
Off day, yeah.
I worry about that, especially when I was younger and single. I had more free time. There's certain places I would go constantly. Subway, one of them, Chipotle, Best Buy, Audio King back in the day. I worried that they'd look at me like, why don't you just put in an application, dickwad? You're here all the time.
Josh, we definitely had those thoughts for the regular people.
Oh, no, you did?
Not in a mean way, but we definitely noticed, like, oh, here they are again. I wonder what they do all day.
They sit and wait to time out their trip to Subway.
Josh, if it was a common chain, like a restaurant chain, would you kind of strategically go to different locations so as to not embarrass yourself too much?
That was the only variety I had in my diet for many years, is which Chipotle I went to. And the one I legitimately, the times that I moved, I made sure I was within 5 minutes of one. And my realtors thought I was absolutely insane because that was one of my criteria. And there was one place where they would have it ready for me on a daily basis. And I felt like kind of a loser.
Oh, I think that's cool.
It was very cool. It was very flattering. But I kind of wondered if they did it because they think this guy's a moron. Like if they sarcastically made me homecoming king.
Oh, yeah.
Where it seems like an honor. And then I find out they were just making fun of me. That was kind of my thought on it.
All right. Yesterday, we, along with our wonderful listening audience, we spent some of our time discussing our nastiest, most disgusting habits. So I was hoping we didn't have to get all gross today, but then this here story lands in my very experienced lap. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Sperm racing. A sperm racing league is approaching. And yes, you can bet on it.
The betting on stuff is getting out of control. Although, if I was a competitor, I'm coming in first every time.
Oh.
As long as premature ejaculation aids in a win.
This is against God, is what it is.
Sperm racing?
Yeah, this is against God.
Yeah, God didn't intend this when he made sperm.
No. Someone out there in completely insane Los Angeles, California, has gone ahead and said they're launching the very first sperm racing league, and they claim it's not a joke. They're live streaming the first race on April 25th from a place called the Hollywood Palladium Theater on Sunset Boulevard. That sounds right. Sounds like the right spot for it. I hear that the sidewalks on the Sunset Strip are mostly sperm.
Yeah, has that reputation.
And urine.
Yeah, anything that falls out of a penis, you can find it there. I was pretty disappointed. I went there once, and I was all, the Hollywood glamour. I expected all that, and it's not glamorous at all, at least in my experience. I didn't think it was.
It's kind of a garbage pile.
Yeah.
There are tickets on sale, Summers, to watch this nonsense happen live and in person. I apologize. There isn't much of an explanation here as to how this works. But there isn't going to be a couple of fellers standing hip to hip, rubbing one loose in front of a crowd, is there, Josh?
I can't imagine
someone waves a green flag and they're racing?
White flag. Yeah, I can't imagine that being the case.
But this is wrong. But they don't really explain how this works. It says here, someone involved built a microscopic racetrack so guys can go head-to-head and see who's got the fastest swimmers. So what do? You carry in a bucket of your own seed?
You probably make it there.
We don't know.
Oh, yeah, they probably want it fresh.
Yeah, got to make it on site.
Yeah. Steelers fan Jesus brings up a good point. Technically, we are all sperm racing winners. That's true, aren't we?
Yeah. I had a little blue ribbon in the fridge for that one.
Sure.
It's the one and only race I've ever won.
Well, I came in a tie.
That's true, you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I tied. I have a twin. So I don't know if guys are standing hip to hip in the nude and whacking off. I don't know. But someone built a microscopic racetrack The track mimics the dynamics of a woman's reproductive system, whatever the hell that means. They say here the point is, so there's a point, to bring attention to fertility and turn health into a competition because it's something you can train for just like any other sport. That's their twist on it. That's their spin on it. It's not.
Don't waste your money on me if I'm ever a competitor. I've had my sperm evaluated professionally for the purpose of procreation, and they said, I think it was like 4 things they graded on. I had a failing grade in every single one. There wasn't one thing they're like, well, these 3 things are awful, but I'll tell you what, you're kicking ass in this particular regard. It was all bad.
Your spuzz has been crooked from the get-go.
Yeah, shaped wrong.
Yeah.
No speed whatsoever.
Slower than the second coming of Christ.
Doesn't have a lot of colleagues. It's kind of isolated. There's only a couple people in there.
Very little sense of direction.
And then, also the direction one, right? I forget the terms, like motility, and there's a bunch of like fancy terms just to make it maybe seem less gross.
Most of them are turning around going the wrong way.
Yeah, they don't know where they're going.
So word is the new Sperm Racing League will have everything other sports have. Press conferences, weigh-ins, play-by-play commentary, and betting. You'll be able to pick favorites and bet on winners. There's something deeply wrong with these people. The first race will feature competitors from UCLA and USC, the crosstown college rivalry, college-age men. So it's going to be a mess.
Oh, it's definitely going to be a mess. Although, I'll tell you what, if they had the same commentators that they do for the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Championship every year, I'd probably watch it because those guys are hilarious.
They'll make anything entertaining, those guys. I agree with you. Whoever is behind this abomination, again, this is their spin. They eventually hope that it improves men's health or some blah, blah nonsense like that. But they also hope, like I said, they're starting with college kids. They hope to get celebrities involved and take a wild guess what famous person gets to be the punchline involving a story about sperm competitions. It's not difficult at all.
Oh, I'm going to be mad when you
High levels of sperm. Go.
Oh, the Nick Cannon.
There you go. And he's got quite the cannon, that's for sure.
He sure does.
The easy answer, Nick Cannons. This all sounds awful.
Sounds like something the Jackass guys would have come up with.
Yeah, which is why I never watched that show.
North Star Woodworks Jesus said, what you lack in motility, you make up for with vigorous jazz hands. That's right. Look, I do have great
Your
jazz
hands are very active. Yeah.
I was in jazz band.
Rhythmic. You were in jazz.
I sure was.
Band. So
There's 2 things I wish I didn't admit on the radio today. One was I described my seed in great detail, and I apologize for that.
Nobody bats 1,000.
Now I admitted I was in jazz band.
That I would want to take back if I were you as well.
This is Dana's fault. He started the show 5 minutes early without any warning whatsoever, and now we're all off.
We've been weird ever since.
Yeah.
Now you're admitting you were in jazz band.
So you're the one who brought it up, your seed being ass backwards, sideways. Nothing good about it. And I know you've been to many dong doctors.
More than the average person, probably.
And ball doctors.
Yes.
So you tell me, if they're really going to be putting on sperm races, there is no other way to do it than to make it on site.
Well, that's how they wanted it for the evaluation. Because
I thought
strict rules on certain things.
I thought I learned in sex ed that if you don't get that sperm in its proper place quite quickly, they die.
Yeah, so they had said, they wanted it on site or as close to on site as possible. And again, this is probably a lot of information you don't want. But for example, let's say they wanted me to collect it at home because they didn't have a Jack Shack right there at the shop.
Jack Shack.
Sometimes they're like, well, you can go in the parking lot. And I thought, no, that's okay. I don't necessarily want to make the paper for that, right?
Just encouraging public masturbation.
Exactly.
So you could make it at home?
Yes, but you had to basically rush in there, and then they wanted, like, my wife to, in the vial, right, 5-gallon bucket for me.
Oh, wow.
To put it in her cleavage.
This is terrible.
To keep it nice and warm.
To keep it warm,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, odds are if they're going to have actual sperm races, they're going to have to make this stuff on site.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm foreseeing texts come in with that product and my wife's cleavage, that kind of stuff.
No, we get it.
And it's okay. Go ahead and send them. You've been saying some terrible things about my mom regarding double meat. My mom is at the finish line for these sperm races, stuff like that.
Right.
It's all hurtful.
Right, but you're used to it. Okay. I just was curious. Is there any other way to do it? And it sounds like damn near the answer is no. If you're going to have sperm races, they're going to have to make this stuff at the venue.
You can freeze it.
Oh.
So it's possible they make it, freeze it, and then just when they're ready to fight.
The good news is in 1 minute I'm going to completely forget about this, and it won't be but right now it's kind of bothering me. How are they doing this? This is gross. Because, the stuff that ends up on a beach towel in your grandmother's bathroom, that doesn't live very long,
Why always your grandma's bathroom?
What's the most private place in Grandma's house?
The stuff that ends up on Grandma's mirror, that doesn't survive very long.
No, not at all. And she's got the best Wi-Fi, Dana. Look, guys, jazz hands.
And also, jazz hands?
Jazz hands.
And also, Dana, your grandmother's the last one to suspect that that's what you're doing in the bathroom. That's why we all choose our grandmother's bathroom.
Do today's grandmas know about masturbation?
No.
Because ours didn't.
No, they don't.
Like the current grandmas, because they know grandparents our age.
They know nothing about it.
They forget.
That's right, they forget.
Once their children have children, they forget about it.
Yes.
Thank God.
Poof. It's just gone. Yep.
We can keep going with the spuzz jokes, I guess, if you want, because a day or two ago, some poor bastard in Missouri crashed his pickup smooth into the neighborhood come-and-go convenience store. The smart asses who came up with the name for that franchise, I bet they throw a hell of a Christmas party.
Oh, yeah, they know exactly what they did.
Mm-hmm. They're a fun bunch, don't you think, Cubby?
Yeah.
Yep.
They spelled it differently because they knew.
Yeah. So
if they were oblivious, they'd spell it differently.
Yes, they would. So dude sent himself and the pickup he was driving right on through the front window at the neighborhood come-and-go. He did. And then he just backed up and drove his sorry ass away from the scene. So everyone in town is thinking, well, who the hell was that dude? The local cops took a look-see at the come-and-go store security footage and saw that it was a 60-year-old feller by the name of Dale Hammett behind the wheel of a Dodge Ram. It's Dale that effed everything up. I'm not sure what Dale thought was going to come of this, but it says here he returned to the store, quote, in the immediate aftermath of the crash. He showed up at the store driving the same pickup truck, and he denied being the driver who crashed into the joint.
As a fellow Ram man, I don't want this to have anybody think that we're all like that. This is an isolated incident. Us Ram men, we take responsibility for our actions.
Oh, I believe it. I believe that 9 times out of 10, Cubby, I do.
Why would he go back?
He's goofy.
Oh, Dale.
He's goofy. Once the police pinned him down, Dale confessed, and he had a hell of an excuse. Dale said that while he was pulling into the come-and-go, his effing Crocs got caught on the gas pedal.
Another reason why you shouldn't wear them.
I just wore Crocs for the first time yesterday. Very first time.
What'd you think?
Comfy.
Yeah.
Comfy to say the least.
He said his Crocs took over. His Crocs caused him to accelerate. How do you say that?
Accelerate?
His Crocs caused him to accelerate. They wouldn't allow him to apply the brakes. And then once he came sailing through the front window, he, quote, freaked out and drove away. So Dale and his super relaxed footwear are up against it now. Jail time and fines and the whole effing works. But we were just reading about Crocs. I think we discussed this on the air not that long ago, that certain schools won't allow the kids to wear Crocs because the kids keep falling off of them and hurting themselves.
Yeah.
And now we have a set of Crocs that made a guy named Dale crash his pickup into the come-and-go. Crocs, of course, always defends themselves and says, no, if you're not a moron, you can wear them quite easily. I don't know.
People are saying that Dale had a little too much Ram and not enough Dodge. I put the Crocs into sport mode yesterday because I was carrying stuff in and out of the house, so I didn't want them to fall off.
Again, the mode, you got to explain this to me.
Well, you pull up the strap for the heel just to make sure they stay on a little better.
Sure, sure.
Do you go socks with your Crocs or no socks, John?
Well, yesterday was the first time I had socks on, and I just went right with it.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. Back to the awful, disgusting material now. It's been a hot week for that kind of thing. We can't control it. We gave you a one-story break, but we're getting right back at it right here with the awful, disgusting material. A repulsive, derelict, maniac, pervert, dangerous, lunatic mailman in China. He got himself arrested for mailing his goo to his female coworkers. Is what he did.
Ugh.
That is absolutely awful. Just awful. Please never, ever do something like that.
Yeah, he's a 43-year-old.
Sometimes, I mean, obviously it's a disgusting act, but I'm more interested in the thought process to even come up with something like that. I don't know if I'd ever even think of something
You can't
like
get there. You couldn't get there because you're not a derelict, maniac, pervert, dangerous, lunatic mailman.
Yeah, I would
You
think.
could be a mailman, but you could
Well, I
never
know, it
be.
seems like a lot of work.
You're not wired to be a derelict, maniac, pervert, lunatic.
You have the calves for it.
That is true.
So don't try to figure this out, Cubby. There's no way you could ever get there. This guy's 43 years old, and his sick mind probably told him, look, pal, this is as close as you're going to get to sex with the foxy ladies at work. You must mail them your Chinese nut butter. So he listened to the voices in his head, and he went ahead and filled some condoms and put them in the mail. It says here he mailed his coworker gals, quote, other items. I don't know what those items were. Maybe a lock of his dead mother's hair or something. I don't know. One of those DNA tests, DNA I think is how you say it. One of those tests were done, and the cops got their man, if that's what you want to call him. Nakajima is the feller's name. The cops got a comment out of old derelict, maniac, pervert, lunatic Nakajima, and his comment doesn't make much sense at all. When asked about mailing condoms filled with his cold, warped seed to the ladies that he worked with, he said, I sent the letters to satisfy my sexual desires.
Somehow makes it worse.
So that's what.
Well, no, that's not the
gets
end
him
of it
there.
yet. That's not the end of it yet.
Oh, no.
It's confusing. I sent the letters to satisfy my sexual desires, but I didn't interfere with their work.
It's fun how
Say what?
people come
Right.
up with some excuses like, hey, it's not like I interfered with their work.
Yeah.
No, you just traumatized them slightly.
Here, this is for you.
I made this.
Word is he was sending his mud to ladies at other local post offices as well. He spent a lot of his time masturbating.
Yeah, these poor post office women.
He spent a lot of his time masturbating. It sounds like somebody needs to be neutered.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty of examples of that in this particular person as well.
Like I've said, some people, they have to earn that right to have a penis and do things with it.
Yeah. Are there some people that need to earn their vagina too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you earn a vagina? Show that you're responsible with it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep it clean?
Yeah. Give examples of what you would do if you were given a vagina. Are you going to
I'm trying to
treat it
think
accordingly?
Before I give this to you, what are you going to do with it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Like Gwyneth how do you say her last name? Paltrow?
Papalo.
She should have been one of those people that had to earn it.
You feel she's being irresponsible with her vagina?
Yeah. Things related to the vagina.
Any gentlemen here thinking about what they'd like to do with a vagina like Ashley recommended?
I haven't thought about it.
Because I've earned one. If that's what you need to do, I have earned one.
I hear you. You got to earn it.
Sports on on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
We're having a lot of fun up here up the Corona rooftop. Who do we got here? What's your name?
My name's Lauren.
Lawrence, all right.
And I'm Kayla.
How are you guys feeling about rooting for the Braves today?
Oof, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best.
What about you? Are you a Braves fan now?
Not quite.
All right, I'm going to go to work up here, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, Wiley. You got 4 innings to get the numbers.
I'm on it. All right, so they want me to get your number.
They want you to get my number.
I'm dead serious.
This is unbelievable.
This might be the new move. Just walk around with a FanDuel microphone and an earpiece in and convince fans that they're actually on TV.
I am speechless.
All right, I got the number. We're good.
That guy's got a cool gig. Atlanta Braves sideline reporter. He goes by the name of Wiley Ballard?
Wiley Ballard.
Wiley Ballard.
That's a cool name.
You like that name?
Yeah. Different.
It's a little different. He goes around the ballpark during Atlanta Braves games, and I think this is like a segment during their ball games. He hits on foxy ladies, and he has a certain amount of time to get their phone number. That's at least what I think it is. But
I didn't think that was the case. I thought there was some miscommunication between the main broadcasters, saying, hey, you got some work to do to try and convince them to be a little more supportive of the team.
Oh.
And he took it. Maybe you're right. The article I read didn't say anything about that being a regular bit.
Well, he walks around talking to foxy ladies at the ball game.
Yeah, he
Wiley,
definitely he does this. He talks to fans.
And he found a couple of blondes there by damn.
Very pretty, but very pretty blondes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It sounded like, maybe I'm losing my mind, but when she said Lauren, it sounded like he went, oh, Lawrence, okay.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, all right, cool.
All right, he put an S at the end of there for sure.
I thought, what the heck? That's not what she said.
Yesterday, I saw an article refer to the Twins as lowly.
Yeah.
That's never good when your ball club is called lowly. Referring to last night's ball game with the New York Metropolitans, a headline said, Soto hits second home run of the season. Mets top lowly Twins 5-1. And we've seen too many of these already this baseball season where they just fall flat. Errors out in the field, not good baseball. So last night, New York Mets beat the Twins 5-1. 3 hits on the night. Friggin' miserable. We'll talk to Glenn Perkins at 7:30. Glenn Perkins is our Twins guy this year. Unlucky bastard that he is, all excited. And we love having Glenn on the radio, but so far, all he's been able to do is try to come up with motivational, what's the word I'm looking for here, John?
Well, he kind of just throws out the positives. Certainly, he's looking for silver linings. Don't worry, it's going to turn around, that kind of thing.
So they'll play again tonight, but it's not good. Like we were saying yesterday, if you're the effing Man Bear Pigs, just go out there and focus on winning the final regular season game of the year and worry about the playoff jibber-jabber afterwards. Pigs and Ducks drop the puck a little after 7 o'clock tonight at the X. If you have the FanDuel channel, you can go ahead and watch it on your television. Yeah, the Blues and the Flames are right there and this and that. Just go out and get 2 points. So that's what they're hoping to do tonight. And then it's on to the playoff. We were talking about Crocs a little while ago. The relaxed footwear, the Crocs. A guy crashed into his neighborhood convenience store the other night down in Missouri, and he blamed his Crocs. He said they got wrapped around the accelerator. That's why he crashed. Sounds silly to me, but we have heard similar stories. People saying, I got tangled up in my Crocs, this and that. Listen to this text message, Josh. A listener says, a pair of Crocs once hurt my dog.
Oh, no.
He said, yeah, she chewed one up, so I swatted her on the ass.
Oh, hey. She was doing a good deed.
You do hate Crocs.
Not for me.
We got to take a break. Josh's news is coming up next.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Nice. 93X.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everyone? It's Trevor Sikkema here from the PFF NFL Show, here to get you ready for the 2025 NFL Draft. We're dropping PFF podcast episodes 3 times a week with the rankings, sleepers, team fits, mock drafts, and more, powered by the same data used by all 32 NFL teams. If you want a deeper insight into this year's class and how it all shapes up on draft day, we've got you covered. Become a smarter draft fan right now on the PFF NFL Podcast. The PFF NFL Podcast, part of the Believe Network. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
You know that jerk across the street who's always got it in for me? Every year, that guy waits to see what decorations I put out and then finds a way to top me. I string lights, he strings better lights. I put out Frosty, he puts out an Elf Village. I put out Dracula, he does nothing, and I look like a jackass.
93X. This 64-year-old was actually in a traffic accident with this female who lived at the house. The weird part about it was that traffic accident wasn't yesterday or last week. It was more than a year and a half ago.
64-year-old Michael Dietz wasn't shy about his actions when Ohio cops asked him about the vandalism at a home of a woman that he'd been in a car crash with over a year ago. I effing spray-painted a-hole on her house, Dietz told Westlake cops on body camera video. And when an officer asked why, his response was just as blunt.
What'd you do over there at her house?
I spray painted hole on her house.
Why?
Because she's a hole.
Why is he shouting at the reporter?
Well, that was a cop he was talking to.
Oh, a cop.
I mean, his reasoning is sound. She is an a-hole, so that's why he wrote it, according to him. While being driven to jail, he did take things a little too far, police said, suggesting she should be happy he didn't do anything worse.
Look, I didn't go order with a 357 and start shooting the place up.
Oh, okay.
You don't say stuff like that.
Well, I know, but I didn't do that. I just spray painted the outside. She couldn't see out the windows.
It's a laugh of a crazy person.
I blacked out her windows.
Officers in Westlake responded to the victim's home Thursday morning after she saw the damage to her house and vehicle. Ring camera footage showed a man arrive shortly before 5 a.m. and tried to pour sugar down an SUV parked in her driveway. He proceeded to spray paint the word a-hole several times, hilariously misspelled each time. While tagging the home, he apparently saw the doorbell camera and spray painted over it. Not even the University of Alabama flag in the front yard was spared. When asked if she had any idea who might do something like this, the victim and her husband mentioned Dietz. They'd been involved in a car crash in August 2023, and he hadn't forgotten.
The police have been called before this most recent incident regarding erratic behavior.
Yeah, I don't feel safe. My wife doesn't feel safe. I know the neighbors don't feel safe.
According to officers, Dietz admitted to everything. He said he was still upset about how the crash was handled. He claimed to be dealing with lingering back pain and said he planned to sue the woman. Investigators later found a black backpack in his possession containing gloves, a reusable grocery bag, a blue funnel, and sugar residue matching what was left in the scene. Westlake cops were stunned. A man of Dietz's age would commit such an act. You'd expect maybe a kid or a young adult to do something like this, not thinking things through fully, but this was a 64-year-old man who should definitely know better, a police spokesperson said. Dietz was arrested without further incident.
It's frightening there are people out there this stupid.
Oh, and that proud of what he did.
Yeah, giggling his nuts off.
Yeah.
Like he's a stand-up friggin' comic.
And like looking around for support from some of these officers.
Dude misspelled the word a-hole.
That seems like it's a pretty easy one to spell. It happened again. Another food service worker caught in the crossfire of an all-too-common epidemic of misplaced outrage, idiotic logic, and the absence of self-control. This time, it was a 23-year-old waitress at a small Chicago restaurant just trying to do her job Friday night, which got her beaten up by 2 women in a brutal attack caught on video. According to the owner of El Taco Azteca, 2 women returned to the restaurant after picking up their tacos and margaritas and demanding a refund because they said they didn't like the food. But there was an issue. Almost all their food was eaten.
They not coming with the margarita, so they said the tacos is not good, so they wanted the money back.
What followed was stupid. The women began trashing the restaurant, throwing things, yanking down decorations, and when the waitress stepped in, they turned their rage on her. She was punched and stomped and left with ouchies, like bruises, cuts, and broken fingers. A member of the city council said this is unacceptable, and the owner not only agrees, but fears it could happen again if the woman returns, or women return. As of yesterday, no arrests had been made.
That's not how it works.
What started as a harmless game nearly turned tragic in central Minnesota over the weekend. Police in Sauk Rapids say a group of high school students were in the middle of a round of Nerf wars just before 3 p.m. Saturday when the game nearly killed a kid.
It's only a matter of time before one of these came up, right?
Yeah, and they were just issuing warnings recently. A 16-year-old boy hiding near a car as part of the game was accidentally run over by his friend who had no idea that the teen was laying on the ground next to the vehicle. A Good Samaritan jumped in to help until first responders arrived, and thankfully, his injuries aren't believed to be life-threatening.
It's possible he broke his arm and has some other injuries, but he's expected to recover fully.
Still, it's a wake-up call. Police are urging teens to rethink playing the game before someone ends up seriously hurt or worse. They warn some of the risks taken during Nerf wars could even lead to criminal charges like disorderly conduct.
Certainly not condoning it, but kids are going to play this. I think we talked about from Chan and Minnetonka and all these communities surrounding us. We just hope that the kids follow the rules that are put in place and make good decisions.
Sadly, the game has led to heartbreaking consequences in Minnesota. Nearly 10 years ago, 2 teens were killed in a car crash in Lakeville while playing. Just a year later, 2 innocent bystanders were hurt in New Hope when the game caused a collision. The Sauk Rapids incident comes just days after Stearns County officials issued a public warning about the growing dangers tied to the game. They've asked players to avoid dressing in dark or camo clothing, stay off private property, and use only brightly colored toy guns. Reminding residents, realistic-looking weapons and suspicious behavior can lead to dangerous misunderstandings, 911 calls, or worse. Last week, police in Eden Prairie got nearly a dozen calls from worried residents and issued a similar caution about the game's rising popularity.
I'm glad this game wasn't around when I was in high school.
You think you'd be dead?
I'd be taken way too seriously, and you guys would have read a story about me in the stupid news or something.
And you die in a weird way.
Oh, yeah. It would not have been like a graceful or, heroic way out. It would have been something so stupid.
Genitals severed by a fence somewhere. A 41-year-old was arrested after she ran down another woman with her Volkswagen because she saw the victim walking with her estranged husband. The victim and her boyfriend had just left a Circle K gas station after buying a few items and were headed toward a friend's house Thursday in Florida.
Maybe condoms.
They could have been, yeah. As they crossed the street, the boyfriend spotted his ex, Kristen Reese, behind the wheel of a white Volkswagen Jetta. That's when, according to the Polk County Sheriff's Office, Reese snapped. Fuming at the sight of her estranged husband with another woman, Reese weaponized her Volkswagen, unleashing a vendetta in her Jetta. Surveillance video from the Circle K shows her whipping into a nearby Family Dollar parking lot to make a U-turn, then accelerating straight toward the couple. The victim tried to run, darting down a nearby driveway, but Reese pursued her, striking her with the car before speeding off. Police arrived to find the woman injured. She was rushed to a local hospital. X-rays showed 2 spinal fractures, but luckily, doctors expect her to make a full recovery. Nothing permanent, thankfully.
Spinal fracture.
Yeah, that sounds bad. According to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, there's a silver lining for the ex-husband, too.
It's a bad ending. But here's one thing I know for sure. The boyfriend can date all the girls he wants to right now because she's locked up in jail and can't get to a car to run over anybody.
Yeah, free reign. Pick a lady. She's yours, she says. It didn't take long for authorities to track down Reese. She was already on probation from a 2023 retail theft conviction. So in addition to attempted murder, she's now facing a probation violation. And I love that they threw this on there, too. Since she chased the victim onto private property without permission, she's also been slapped with a trespassing charge.
Nice.
That'll put it over the top.
I like it when they pile it on.
I do, too, especially something like that. So what this stems from is she turned around again in a neighbor's driveway.
Yeah.
They said, all right, F you.
Yeah.
We're going to throw this on there, too.
If you're going to act like that, I love it when they pile on the chicken dick charges. It's a lot of fun.
I'm with you. An enraged Central Florida therapist was arrested after finding her adult daughter in bed with a naked man. 58-year-old Dr. Kimberly Birdwriter, a Central Florida therapist and yoga specialist who trained at Harvard, flew into a rage upon finding her adult daughter laying in bed with the birthday-suited gentleman. The good doctor
birthday-suited.
The good doctor walked in unannounced, was greeted by the sight of her pride and joy, cozied up in bed, and then charged him.
Yeah? Well, how old? Her daughter is grown.
They don't say. Yeah, they don't say exactly how old, but they said an adult daughter.
Yeah, what's the problem here?
The daughter stood up to protect her lover, so the furious mother slapped her right in the holler hole, and the naked man tried to escape.
What the heck?
Bird Rider gave him a swift, hard kick as he flew out of the love nest. When questioned by cops, she said she'd warned her daughter several times not to bring men home.
Huh. That's tough parenting right there.
Yeah, I thought those yogis, were pretty calm. And she's a therapist as well.
Yeah, they're supposed to be. Yeah, you would think that she would know what she was doing wasn't going to end well.
Yeah, they talk about their feelings and whatnot, but not in this case.
Poor guy just had to up and run, huh?
Yeah, but she kicked him real good.
Right in the ass.
Disneyland guests expecting magic and mouse ears were met with something unexpected and unwanted over the weekend. A naked Canadian high on drugs wandering through the park. Footage circulating online shows the man reportedly high on top of the Cajun restaurant, or a Cajun restaurant inspired by the Princess and the Frog on Saturday. Another clip shows the man waving his arms in the air before climbing over the restaurant balcony screaming, "I am exposing myself."
Thank you for announcing.
As he displayed his dong to Disney. "We came out of the Haunted Mansion and walked right into the scene. Never thought we'd see that," one witness said. "So disgusting. It's supposed to be an enjoyable place for kids. People pay hundreds of dollars a month to be seeing crap like that," said another. A month. The unclad Canuck is now facing some all-American justice.
This happened yesterday at the park's New Orleans Square. Workers tried to steer away visitors from that very disturbing sight. He was arrested shortly after for trespassing, public nudity, and being under the influence of narcotics.
Oddly enough, this isn't Disneyland's first foray into full frontal. The incident comes about 18 months after a streaker was filmed ripping off his clothes and crawling around the iconic It's a Small World attraction in front of other riders, opening himself up to anatomy jokes.
Yeah.
He was later seen walking around the park naked, having left his clothes in a pile next to the ride, which was shut down during that incident.
My favorite part of this video is the young Disneyland worker with the little red wand, and he's trying to get people away from the naked man. But if I was there, I'd be like, no, I want to see where this goes.
Yeah,
What's he doing?
Let's finish this out.
He had some kind of a beating stick in his hand to keep people back from the naked man?
It actually reminds me of what they use at the airport to get airplanes to land, those sticks that glow.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Yeah.
Did I hear a baby crying in that audio?
Yeah, there's kids in the background. It's Disneyland.
Yeah, that helps add to the creepiness of it all.
A 27-year-old Florida deputy was injured Sunday after being shot in the leg by a police officer. And this will be a tough one to live down because she was that police officer. Ooh. Around 10:30 a.m., cops were called to wrangle a small herd of runaway cows spotted roaming a residential neighborhood. After tracking the animals behind a nearby home, a deputy went to find the owner. But as she walked toward the front of the property, she encountered a canine, not a cowboy. A large dog suddenly charged at her, prompting the deputy to draw her weapon in self-defense. She fired several times, hitting the dog at least once, and accidentally shooting herself in the leg in the process. A fellow deputy quickly applied a tourniquet. Fortunately, the bullet passed cleanly through her right calf, missing bones and arteries. Still, the irony of being shot in the calf during a call involving rogue cows wasn't lost on anyone. The injured and admittedly embarrassed officer is expected to be just fine. The dog is also going to be okay. The owner was cited, the cows were safely returned home, and their escape route, a broken fence, has since been fixed.
Boy, that blows.
That makes it so much worse that she drew her gun on a dog, too, not like some crazy deranged man with a weapon.
Well, the dog was going for her, so I mean, I can, I'm sure that situation sucked pretty bad, especially the part where she shot herself in the leg.
Yeah.
Even the dog was laughing at her.
Yeah, the dog's like, all right, you've had enough. Some great news out of the state of Virginia. Turns out a popular brewery there will soon be back in business, which led to this real headline from a Richmond CBS affiliate. Licking Hole Creek Craft Brewery is Goochland County is preparing to reopen in Goochland County on May 15th.
Licking Hole
Creek Craft Brewery in Goochland County.
Oh, Gooch! I didn't even catch that the first time.
I slaughtered that. I ruined it big time.
Goochland.
Yeah. Licking Hole Creek Craft Brewery in Goochland County is about to reopen.
I'd like to.
I bet you they for the gooch.
I bet you they sell some interesting looking hats and T-shirts over there.
Oh yeah, I like when they do that.
Licking Hole Brewery in Goochland County.
A bunch of national chains have deals to help take the sting out of tax day today. Some in store, others online or via their app. Here are a few places with freebies or discounts: Krispy Kreme, Casey's, Burger King, Shake Shack, Hooters, Giggity, Potbelly, California Pizza Kitchen, and many, many more, which can be found at 93x.com. Free grass is back, and a 93X listener is going to get a free yard. Head to our website, click on the free gas link on the homepage, and give us your opinion on who deserves a yard makeover from the sexy staff at A&L Sod.
These friggin' pictures are hilarious.
I know, they're great.
There's some folks with some broken-ass yards out there.
Have you guys voted? I haven't voted yet.
Yes, I voted.
I did not know we were allowed to vote.
I don't know if we are. That's why I didn't vote yet.
I'm going to do my research into all the candidates first, Josh.
That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it. I'll just get my opinion on Facebook first. We'll announce the free grass winner on Friday, just ahead of 420, the grass holiday. Thanks again to A&L Sod. Again, you can find that info on 93x.com. Seth Rogen's 43 today, Ashley.
I love him. I just watched The Studio.
Good. What do you think?
Oh, it's perfect.
It's very well written.
Yes.
I enjoy it, too. It's the new Apple TV Plus show called The Studio. I didn't think it looked good at all in the previews, but it is great.
There was a scene, Josh, where Seth Rogen, when he's on one of the sets, and he's being really annoying to everybody there. They're trying to get the perfect shot.
Yeah.
I had to zoom ahead because that scene was stressing me out too much.
Oh, it was cringy.
Oh, he just couldn't get out of his own way.
No.
It was very cringy. I'm so glad you watched it. I was texting you. I couldn't wait for you to watch it to see what you thought.
Yes, it's perfect.
Swamp Stomping Jesus text in a good luck shout out to the kid he made. Swamp Stomper Jr. trying for his first turkey this week. Happy Sweet 16 to Amelia from But You Didn't Mean Not To, Jesus. Happy 13th birthday to Addison Marie. Have fun at the Wild Game tonight from Mom, Dad, a.k.a. Dual Exhaust Jesus, Grandma, and Rachel. And that's 93X News.
And now a Minnesota Twins update. We're talking Twins with former All-Star closer
Glenn Perkins.
Glenn Perkins on 93X.
That's a cool intro.
I like that one, too.
It's a pretty cool intro. Hello,
cool
Randy
guy.
Shaver.
Good morning.
All right, there's Randy Shaver. Also, world-class entertainer C. Willi Myles is here in studio. Hello, C. Willi.
What's up?
Dude. And we're going to talk Twins with local rock star Glenn Perkins. Brought to you by Xfinity. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff. Glenn, we keep waiting for business to pick up, and it hasn't happened yet.
I thought that maybe Sunday was the start of it, and that we were going to have another good one last night, and we'd be coming into this thing like guns blazing, having fun. And last night, I was there. I was on the radio broadcast, and by the end of the game, I was shivering from the cold and lack of excitement. Tell you what, I'm trying not to ride the roller coaster, but you'd like to see them to start to string a couple together, I think.
Damn, man. Yeah, I caught a little bit of you on the radio last night. You did a great job, but it was another one of these ball games. We've seen way too many of these already this baseball season where nothing happens. They just fall flat. There were 3 hits on the night. 2 of them came from Wallner. The pitching's been good lately. Let me read this statistic to you. What do I have here, Glenn? You probably know all this stuff because you cover it on television and the radio. In the past 7 games, Twin starters are 2-1 with a 0.96 ERA. They've struck out 36 batters, allowed just 1 home run, and they're 2-5.
Yeah, well, and then that last night, you said it, 3 hits. They had the 1 inning, two walks, and a hit by pitch, and all they were able to muster out of that was a sac fly. A really good at-bat from Christian Vasquez, shortened up, put a ball to the outfield. And all that did was got Joe Ryan off the hook. He threw well enough last night to not deserve a loss. But, yeah, you'd like to see them take advantage of the opportunities that they get. And last night, they didn't have many. I mean, it was cold. There was mist blowing in the air for a majority of the night. But the Mets were able to find a way to get it done. And the Twins offense just the cohesiveness, working at bat to at bat and building something hasn't been there. And, I'm a pitcher. I focus always more on the pitchers. They're doing a good job. You don't want to pit the pitchers and the hitters against each other because there's going to be some games at some point this year where the pitchers give up 7-8 runs and the Twins win. So it's all part of it. But the inconsistencies on the offensive side right now are frustrating to watch. They're frustrating to talk about, and I'm sure that it's the same case for all the guys in the dugout. They're frustrated.
Errors out in the field.
The pitcher errors are weird.
Yeah.
And I saw Aaron Gleeman's note last night. I think he said they're on pace for like 57. They have six or seven errors already to this point. And last night, both of those errors were inexcusable. They both ultimately led to runs. One directly, the Topa throw to first base led to a run on that play. And then the other one put a guy on base that Juan Soto eventually drove in. So that's basic stuff. That's spring training, pitcher fielder practice. You do a million of those, and really no reason that for sure the Topa one didn't turn into an out, and Jorge Alcala either eat it or get yourself set and make a proper throw, and both guys didn't. And I talked about it a little bit in the post game last night, that those kind of things are mental lapses as much as they are physical lapses. And that's more concerning to me is what are those guys thinking about before they get the ball? And I had mentioned when I was on the mound and a guy was hitting, I always told myself, if this ball comes to me, where am I going with it? And how much time do I have to get it there? And so you have to have that internal clock. That's the ability to slow the game down. You anticipate what's going to happen, and they're not doing that. And so they rush themselves. They make a bad throw, and it leads. It has not only effect on their outing, it has an effect on how that game progresses and who pitches later in the game and how big of a deficit does the offense have to come back from. They're simple plays that just need to get made.
Are you worried about Rocco?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I've never been a guy that thinks the manager has that big of an impact on wins and losses. I feel like
I've always been that guy too. I've always been that guy too. Anyway, go ahead.
It's the talent on the field. There's either enough talent or there's not enough talent. I've always felt like managers hover somewhere in between, and so to point the finger at Rocco, I don't think that's fair.
Okay,
but at some point when you struggle, you're going to point the finger somewhere.
Yeah. You can't fire the whole team.
You can't fire players.
That's how it works.
Yep.
That's how it works.
And so, I don't think that's on him by any stretch, but it's a frustrating start. And with all of the things that they talked about in spring training, with guys getting more at bats, with them being out on the field more, with them trying to get back to the basics, they haven't yet proven that on the field.
Yeah, they're batting .203, which is the second lowest mark in the American League. You want to hear any more of these stats? No, I don't think so.
Well, I think that most of the things that when you're, I'm sure the White Sox are the team that are below them. And
I can't say for sure, but that's probably a good guess. Yeah,
you don't want to be in the same sentence as the Chicago White Sox right now.
No. Wow. No, you don't. You don't want to be mentioned alongside the White Sox. You don't.
So Glenn, is it the experiment of Matt Wallner leading off this baseball team? Is that over now? I mean,
so he's had a fine season, and I think what they realized is he's one of the few guys that's putting together good at bats, that's getting hits, that's doing anything on the offensive side. So maybe we put him after a couple guys that we hope get going, and then Wallner's the guy that can drive them in. I understand where they were going with starting that way. You have a guy that he has the best on-base percentage on the team, and you want guys on base. But if there's nobody behind him hitting, maybe you can get those guys going, and Matt Wallner can keep going and drive those guys in. So I don't know if it's necessarily over. I would say it's probably more likely than not that it is, because I think he's just more of a middle of the lineup type of hitter.
Yeah.
But you see,
I don't think it's his. I don't think you blame him.
No
that
buts,
he's not
Randy.
hitting leadoff anymore. I think that they're trying to do something to get the offense going.
But you also see with some lineups, like the Mets, for example, Juan Soto hits second. some of those guys that you would think are classic cleanup hitters in this day of baseball, they don't necessarily bat fourth anymore. So, I mean, I understand what the Twins were trying to do too. I just wondering if all those things you just said, that would be nice if your leadoff batter was the guy that gets on base every time.
At this point, try anything, for God's sake, right? Try anything.
Yeah, I think it's throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. But I think really what you try to do with your lineups is, and look, the Mets have Francisco Lindor, who hasn't hit much yet this year.
No,
but they have him at the top, so they have some real talent. And those top three guys last night, Lindor, Soto, Pete Alonso, they're dangerous hitters, and especially when they're rolling, they're some of the better hitters in the game. But the higher you hit in the order, it really just comes down to how many at bats do you want to get each guy. Yeah. And if every spot in the order moving up to the top is somewhere between 12 and 20 at bats more on the season by moving that guy up one spot. And so it just comes down to who do we want to have hit where, and how often do we want to have them hit. And I think right now that they're just trying to find some combination of something that gets going, and maybe they put up a handful of runs in a game, and then they try to stick with that and see what happens.
At this point, try any damn thing. Have guys hop to the other side of the plate, see how they do. Another chilly night tonight, windy night tonight. Bailey Ober's turn out on the bump. Here's a question that's been texted in for you, Glenn Perkins, from Just Trying to Get to Work, Jesus. He says, who scores more tonight, the Twins or the Wild?
Oh, man. Who are the Wild playing?
The Mighty Ducks of Anaheim.
And if the Wild win, they're in, right?
Yep. I think that's how it works, yeah.
Yes, it is. That's true.
Gosh, I mean, I hope that the Wild pour it on.
Yeah, we hope so, too. It's not all terrible news from the Twins. Ty France was named the AL Player of the Week. He had a great week last week. Glenn, were you ever the American League Player of the Week?
I don't think so. There's probably something I should know. So yeah. I would say that I wasn't.
You had some great weeks. You had some great months, years, and everything. You don't remember if you were ever American League Player of the Week?
No, I'm guessing that I wasn't.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if they do like a pitcher of the week. I guess they probably do, but like somebody was going to throw a complete game shutout and win that. So as a reliever, a little tough to get. There was one time that I threw 4 games in a row. So if I didn't get it that week, then I probably didn't get it.
Glenn, you don't remember April 22nd of 2003 when you were named the Big Ten Pitcher of the Week?
Big Ten Pitcher of the Week.
I thought that'd be a career highlight for you.
Of Glenn Perkins Pitcher of the Week, and it's 22 years ago. I probably threw a complete game shutout that week.
Yeah, you did, against Illinois.
There you go.
Illinois. Soft-ass lineup they must have had that day.
Oh, yeah, in 2003, they were terrible.
Wow. What'd you think of that Joe Mauer statue, Glenn Perkins? Did you see it in person? We think it's terrific.
Yes, I was there. I went up there to be there for Joe, and that thing is unbelievable. First of all, it's massive. The artist makes them like 125% of real size, and he made a joke. He got up and spoke for a minute, and he made a joke. He's done all the statues at Target Field, and he did Kirby Puckett's. And he said Kirby Puckett was 5'8", and so the statue wasn't massive. Mm-hmm. He said the one feedback they had about Puckett's was the family said you need to make the butt bigger.
Really?
That's great.
But Joe, being 6'4", that thing is almost 8 feet tall, so it's enormous, and the detail is incredible. And after they all spoke, we went up there to take a picture with Joe by the statue, and we were looking at it up close, and I looked inside of his catcher's glove. The model number of his catcher's glove is in there. So
that's amazing.
Wow.
No detail was left untouched. Wow. It was absolutely incredible.
Oh, I can't wait to see it in person.
Who was your favorite Twin growing up, and do they have their own statue?
They do have their own statue. And I wish it was him pretending to smoke a cigarette at first base.
Oh, you're talking about Herbeck?
Yes. Yeah, Ken Herbeck was my favorite player my entire childhood. I love Frank Viola as a lefty pitcher, and then Herbie, just the personality, being a left-handed hitter, loved him, and so that I've told so many people, like, that was the moment for me where it was like, what, like, my life is crazy when I got to meet my idol. And then down the line, I at one point got a video or a voice memo from him that was him farting into his cell phone.
There you go. Never meet your hero, buddy.
That is surreal. Like, not only did I get to meet my idol, but my idol sent me a text message of him farting into his phone.
He actually did that to me.
A fart message.
Oh, did not take that
Ken
back.
Herbeck in a nutshell.
Did you save that message?
They say I still have it. They say never meet your idols, but I'm thrilled that I got to meet mine.
I don't know anything about cellular telephones. Is there any way that, Glenn, you could play Kent Herbeck's fart live on the radio for us right now?
You could send it to us, and we could play it.
Are we close enough with you yet, Glenn, that you would send us?
That one has to stay on my phone.
Okay.
I will tell the story.
Okay. That's a beautiful story.
Airdrop a fart.
Please airdrop us a fart when you get the time. No, we understand how you'd want to keep that private. That's totally. I read an article yesterday.
That's my voice memo. Okay, that's my fart sound voice memo. Not your guys.
I read an article yesterday that said, okay, Mauer's got a statue. It's Kevin Garnett's turn now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's going to happen. I think
that is long overdue.
With the ownership change, the KG will be around town a little more
if they're smart.
Yeah. Oh, a KG statue would be cool. Yeah.
He earned it.
Yeah, he's
for sure.
He's the guy. I don't know. I'm a little burned out on the gimmick. You tell me, Glenn Perkins, where you stand. I was reading yesterday that ESPN is going to go ahead and broadcast 10 Savannah Banana games this season. Are you dialed into the Savannah Bananas? What do you think of their gimmick?
I've not seen them. I see some of their clips on TikTok. I'm not going to be the get off my lawn guy. I think they're entertaining. They're selling out NFL stadiums, so they're popular.
Yeah.
I wonder if that product is made for TV or not. I know, like, they were down in spring training. I think they played a game at the Red Sox spring training site, and so a bunch of the Twins employees went over, and the kids loved it. All the kids loved it. I know that the adults that were there were like, yeah, it was fine. It's kind of what they said was, like, what you see from the highlights on TikTok is kind of all that there is. It's a lot of just baseball, and then they do some fun stuff, choreograph things, some craziness. But it's super popular with the kids, so I think good for them. I mean, if they can go sell at an NFL football stadium, like, they're doing something right.
Yeah.
It's not something that I would ever watch.
What if they asked you to? What if they asked you to get involved? What if they said, "Hey, we want you to pitch a game"? You know, you would do that, right? I mean,
you're the player of the week from 22 years ago.
I probably would.
Yeah,
I probably would want to do that. I think it would be fun. Like I said, they have a great product, and they're very entertaining and very popular. And I think you'd be stupid not to take the opportunity if it was given to you.
Yeah, I think I got to see it in person. It'll be as you said, tough ticket nowadays, but I think I got to see it in person.
Do we know if they play full 9-inning games? Because I'm thinking about 4 or 5 innings would be just enough. Would be the right amount.
I think it's 7 innings is what they play.
And like Glenn said, all 10 games that'll be broadcast on ESPN will be played at either a big league baseball or NFL or major college football stadium. Beginning April 26th, you can see them on ESPN.
I'm excited. I'm really into it.
Me too.
The one they did in Tampa was supposed to originally be at the Rays stadium, and then that got ruined in a hurricane.
Yeah.
And so they moved it, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers redid the field and everything, and they sold it out. So I know that when they announce sites, like, they sell out immediately.
Yeah, they're fun to watch.
Curious to see how it plays on TV.
Yeah, there you go, the Bananas. Oh, they got to be playing that friggin' new favorite song of yours, Josh, right?
Oh, Chicken Banana?
Chicken Banana,
Oh,
right?
I wonder.
Do you know the Chicken Banana song, Glenn? It's everywhere. The young people love the song about chickens and bananas.
I have 2 kids in high school. It must be for kids in middle school or elementary school.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Any second now, we'll be receiving texts with nothing but the middle finger emoji. We get a handful of those.
Do you know that one? See, Willie, chicken banana. Have we played that one for you yet?
No, I've heard it, though.
Yeah, you think you could, do something out on the dance floor to that one?
Without a doubt, no.
There's got to be a DJ that plays it at some club, right? There has to be.
Oh, yeah. They've
kids love
definitely
that
made
song.
mixtapes with dubstep versions and stuff.
All right, Glenn.
Are you guys sure that wasn't Wessel's wedding song?
No, do you mind saying what it was?
The first dance song?
No, the song that your wife walked down the aisle.
She walked down to the aisle to a wedding version of a popular Blink-182 song.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of those where I'm like, I recognize these beautiful string instruments, and then realized this is Blink-182.
Same here, Josh.
There's people on YouTube that they take popular songs, pop hit songs, and then they sing it and put instruments and strings in the background to make it sound like a legit wedding song, to the point, like you guys just said, right halfway through, you're like, wait, this is Blink-182.
Yeah, you can look up just about any song and plug in wedding version at the end, and you'll find something like that.
Yeah, the Dana wedding. It was a hell of a deal, Glenn Perkins. It really was. There was a lot going on at the Dana wedding. Maybe the more fitting song would be, which are you, chicken or banana, Dana?
Oh, I'd probably be banana.
Yeah. Douchebag banana be the more fitting title.
Wow.
Well, I did start the show 5 minutes early today. I deserve every bit of heat I get.
No warning whatsoever.
No.
Nothing.
Glenn?
We're live.
I need very quickly. I need to know, how do you start a show? How do you start a show early?
Oh, usually.
Without the crew.
There's a start time, Glenn Perkins.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know there is, right? Isn't it all set? Like, you're on air here, and you start with a commercial, and then.
Yeah. He stepped on his own dong, and suddenly the mics were live, and Josh and I were still over here smoking grass and whatnot, getting ready. Ashley's in the bathroom. He just hit the wrong button, and then he froze.
Well, 7:35 came around, and I was like, okay, the Beastie Boys are wrapping up.
5:35.
5:35. Yeah, 5:35. The Beastie Boys are wrapping up, and I know there's one more 4-minute song in there that's going to get us really, really close to 5:40 start time. I accidentally deleted that 4-minute song, and then all of a sudden I hear the open hit. I go, oh, God, here we go.
And then you panicked.
I did.
Instead of just playing the song,
the song was out of the system. I deleted it out of there. I would have had gone back in and dug in and found it.
Glenn Perkins, it was a balk.
He said, I panicked.
False start. That's a false start.
Yeah, it was a false start. We'll let you go, dude, but we always appreciate you joining us. We'll see what happens tonight with the Twins and the Metropolitans over there at Target Field. Thanks, Glenn Perkins.
Yes, thanks, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
You bet, man. Our chats with Glenn, brought to you by Xfinity. Stream sports from the best seat in the house with Xfinity. Bring on the good stuff, by damn. Thanks for joining us, C. Willi Myles.
Oh, glad to be here, my friend.
Yeah. What the hell else is going on around here? We started with. No, we didn't start with.
We went straight to Glenn.
We went to Glenn. Then I'll change my path here. Like we were just saying, we were talking about the Pigs a few minutes ago, weren't we? Like we were saying yesterday, if you are the Pigs, just go out there, focus on winning the final regular season game of the on the schedule. Don't worry about the playoff jibber jabber. But the word is, if they win, they're in tonight, huh?
That's correct.
All right.
Tired of Minnesota sports. Everybody's got to win to get in. Why can't we just be in?
Nick was just saying that yesterday off air.
I hate that every year one of our teams got to play to get in. You win, you're in. You don't, you won't.
I said that yesterday. I think we were off air, weren't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me.
Well, say it live.
No, you said it best. Yes, one team. But, last year the Wolves were solidly in. We didn't have to wait around for the Wolves.
No.
But it happens. You're right.
Right.
A lot of times it comes down to the final friggin' day, and you got to, panic a little bit here and there.
We never had teams with the bye week.
Yeah. No, we never get that. At least I don't remember the last time we were that team that got the bye week or got the.
Well, here's the crazy thing, too. Tonight is the final game of the regular season for the Wild and for the St. Louis Blues. So if they both win, it's basically over. However, if they don't win and Calgary wins, then you've got to sit 2 more days because Calgary doesn't close the season until Thursday night, the last game of the NHL schedule.
Yeah.
For the season.
The West Coast game.
And that game will determine whether the Wild get in or not. Okay. So you don't want that to happen.
No.
Tonight is the night. You've got to put Anaheim away. How many times have we said this, right? You got to put the team away. Then you can relax for a couple of days, see how the whole seeding process works, figure out who you're going to play, blah, blah, blah. But if you lose tonight, and Calgary wins, and St. Louis is in the same boat, too.
Right.
They're in the same boat. Then you've got to sit till Thursday night at 8:30 start to figure out whether you're in or not. So
That
would be a horrible way to not make the playoffs.
Yeah. Right. Players and fans all staying up late at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, St. Louis deserve it. I mean, that's Missouri. I mean, this is the state of hockey.
Which is the state of hockey? Right here?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said St. Louis does not deserve
they
it.
Do deserve. They deserve to have to wait and but we're the state of hockey.
I understand now. They deserve
we need
to wait.
Lose that name until we start playing hockey around here.
I thought you were saying that St. Louis deserved to be in the playoffs.
That's Missouri. It's Missouri.
I hear you. I do. They don't really
No.
If you have the FanDuel channel, you can go ahead and watch it on your television tonight. Pigs and Ducks drop the puck after around 7 o'clock. So there you go. Paige Beckers.
Fabulous.
Superstar.
Love her.
The big story here is that someone from Hopkins has finally decided to do something with their life.
With the first pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Dallas Wings select Paige Beckers, University of Connecticut.
Paige, it's one thing to want this as a little kid, but when you hear your name called number one in the WNBA draft, what's racing through your mind right now?
Just an overwhelming sense of gratitude. My teammates are here, my family's here, and to be here right now, I'm just extremely blessed.
The Dallas Wings selected Paige Beckers as the number one pick in the 20 and 25 WNBA draft. There
She'll be fun to watch.
Gosh, 23 years old. That's just so crazy to me. I think about what I was doing at 23.
You were here.
Well, it was only 4 years ago.
Yeah, you can't say that at your age.
Oh, no? It's in the past. I guess I was.
It is in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say it, but it doesn't have much impact.
You were at work.
No, I mean, I wasn't doing anything. I was a little pathetic loser, and I mean, still am, but look at her. Jeez.
You weren't here 4 years ago?
No, I was.
But yet you still considered yourself a pathetic loser.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see her point.
Yeah,
Come on now.
Say it out loud.
Yeah, she lost me at first, but and that was you could have used stronger words.
Yes, I think now I understand. Yeah, hilarious. You were, along with the rest of us, just a pathetic loser.
And it gets worse each year you're here, Ashley.
No, Ashley, no offense, but it sounds kind of funny when a 27-year-old goes, "By God, I can think back to when I was 23."
Oh, it makes it seem like I'm talking. Okay, I get what you mean.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, you should be able to remember every damn thing. It was only a few years ago.
Things moved a little slower back then.
Yes, back in 2021.
Think about the way I said that. Yeah, you're right.
But in your defense, though, actually, I have known you for almost about 4 years now, a little over 4 years, and you've made definitely some positive life choices in those 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
There has been some good changes.
Yes, there has been.
All right, there you go. We're happy for Paige Beckers.
Yep.
She'll go out and do some damage.
It'll be fun.
Will she outscore that Iowegian guy?
No.
She won't outscore the Iowegian guy.
She just doesn't have the talent around her right now. The good thing about Caitlin Clark is that Indiana team's got some decent talent around her.
Well, they just bought half the league.
Who went and bought half the league?
Indiana. They got the trades that they made. They brought in nothing but just thoroughbreds
to try to help
they're
out.
Trying to get her a chip.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's got a lot of pieces around her.
Yes.
And not that she needs a lot, but she's got a lot. Paige will eventually. I mean, this Dallas team is building from the ground up basically again, but she's such a talent. As long as she stays healthy, she's got injury issues. She's had some in the past, but seems to put that behind her. Just, I mean, it's a different deal, though. You know, going from college and playing against college players to playing against, professional players on a nightly basis, it's a different deal. But I'm certain that she'll she'll find her way and she'll be an impact player.
Both of them, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark, kind of battling to, to find out who's the second best player in the WNBA.
Oh, stop it.
Behind Angel Reese.
You are her biggest fan.
I love her.
Who that?
Angel Reese.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I think she's a dog. I love Paige.
What does it mean to be a dog?
I mean, you just work hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with you, C. Willie, today.
Well, you got that dog in you.
Yeah.
You got a dog. Yeah. I'm just saying, Paige Becker has that. She's offensively and defensively. She's a dog. She go after you, man. She's not a wuss.
You're our WNBA guy from now on.
Hey, I love Paige, man. She's an all around great player. They spit him out of Hopkins, man. The girl that plays over at South Carolina as well, and the Coffee Girls came out of
they did.
Hopkins, and they're the WNBA.
Like Richard Coffey's daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mia is still down in Dallas, I believe.
See, you know all this stuff. Josh, am I a dog?
Heck yeah, you're a dog.
Absolutely. You guys are dogs, man. You guys been around. How long you been around? 27 years?
Yeah. Since Ashley was born. Yeah.
Dog. Those are dog years.
Dog
baby.
years.
I knew you were a dog the first day I met you.
How
the way
so?
you're scooting across the carpet, rubbing your butt on that thing, lifting your leg up to pee on everything.
Dog instinct.
That's a dog right there.
Doing all those dog-like things.
That's insane that you've been around my whole life.
D-A-double-G.
Wow.
It just hit you, didn't it?
Yeah,
Ash?
that's a lot of years.
Yeah.
Cheese and rice.
Who here plays the NBA video game 2K25? Anybody?
We have it. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards of the Timberwolves has admitted that he does not play himself when he plays that video game.
NBA 2K, are you playing strictly as yourself?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie, I be using the Celtics.
That's funny. Is that because he wants to win?
I only play with winners.
Usually you hear athletes say the complete opposite, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Or they'll complain about their ratings and, that they should be better and all that kind of stuff.
Us normal schmoes, if we want to play as ourselves in a video game, we have to go to the create a player mode.
Exactly, and it never looks like us.
No, and Ant is built in, and he does ask for it to be the Celtics.
No, I'll be A1 from day one.
He's a funny dude.
He says he ain't going to lie. I be using the Celtics when he plays. That comes from some new documentary. Did we know about this? That interview is being used to promote a series on Netflix called Starting Five.
Yeah, it's been on there.
This sounds familiar to me. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's been on
Last time we talked about it was a hot minute ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's in a documentary about just life in the NBA. Is this the one with Tatum's in there too and
LeBron?
Right.
Yeah, it's multiple players.
Jimmy Butler is on there too. It came out late last year.
God's sake. Okay, this is nothing new.
Or in the fall.
I thought it sounded familiar. Fair enough. What team do you use when you play NBA, whatever it's called, Randy Shaver?
I always play the Timberwolves.
Do you?
Yeah, and I'm used to losing, so.
Oh, dang.
I always try to pick the teams. Well, I mean, I play the baseball game. I love the baseball game. Playing the Twins is difficult because they, like the real Twins, they're not very consistent. So,
wow.
Yeah.
It's an algorithm.
Yep.
So, what kind of offense do you run? Pick and roll, shoot a lot of threes?
I'm not sophisticated. Maybe Dana or somebody's more sophisticated at that game than I am. I just like to play it.
You don't edit anything. You just
I really don't.
hit play. I love that.
Yesterday, you mentioned the NBA's Iron Man Club, and you mentioned the cone. Chris Paul.
Yes. Started all 82 games last year at the age of 40.
The NBA's Iron Man Club, you must play all 82 games during the season without injury or suspension. And yes, you mentioned the cone.
Yep.
We got text on this, and I didn't get around to mentioning it, but now it's as good a time as any. 2 Timberwolves
were
part of the Iron Man Club, and that was Jaden McDaniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
That's correct. Yeah. Now the difference is that Paul started.
Right, I
82
understand.
Games.
Sure.
I think Jaden. I'm not sure. Did Jaden start all 82? I think he did.
Probably.
I'm not sure, but I think he did.
Probably.
I know one of Paul's teammates, Harrison Barnes, also started all 82 games.
Sure.
For San Antonio. There's very few guys, obviously, that played all 82. We talked about Mikal Bridges. I mean, that guy, his streak is amazing. But
so many games in a row.
Yeah. Well, we said this yesterday.
Yeah.
He hasn't missed a game since junior high.
Jesus.
He's consistently played and started every game he's played. High school, college, everything.
Jaden did start all 82.
Jaden did.
He did start.
He did start all 82 games.
The Phoenix Suns fired their coach, Mike Budenholzer.
Not surprised.
No, of course not.
What a trash
When is the
fire
last
that
time
was.
any of us have been surprised by a coach firing in any of the four major professional sports?
I would say the Memphis firing earlier this year.
I suppose there have been a couple.
I would say that.
Denver,
for sure.
It hasn't been long, but usually this is how it works. We have a high dollar roster. We didn't win it all. Fire the coach. Yep. You're right. There have been a couple of.
Although I will say, having read more about what happened to Mike Malone in Denver, I can understand why.
What did he do?
Well, apparently there has been
smoking and drinking,
a rift between himself,
hookah,
and the general manager, and it's kind of bled into the organization where everybody's picking sides.
Rich guys getting in pissing matches.
So I can, after reading the article that I read, I guess I understand why Denver made the choice that they're going to make some changes.
All right. I guess the surprise ones do happen.
Yeah, there are a few.
It just seems like so much of it is so easily predicted, though.
Sure.
Oh, speaking of documentaries, Netflix is going to dump a documentary on us pretty soon about friggin' Brent Favre and what a nutbag he is.
Oh, God, please.
It's kind of fun, I guess.
I mean, it might be. Might be fun to watch the craziness.
Yeah.
They're calling it The Fall of Favre.
No.
Which is a stupid title.
So dramatic.
Old Brent.
Yeah. Should have been the Titanic. Favre Titanic.
Titanic?
Titanic.
You have
Isn't
trouble
today
with
the anniversary of that sinking?
What?
I think it was yesterday.
Just try to anchor around. 'Cause that's the way he just.
Is that right?
Was a sad person.
Who was a sad person?
Favre.
Brent?
He reminds you of the Titanic because of that. I love that.
No, it's today, April 15th.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. It struck the iceberg on the 14th, sank today.
That's why I saw it everywhere yesterday.
Yeah, he's nuts, isn't he?
Yeah.
Brent.
You had the opportunity of a lifetime, and you squandered it.
Well, he did take pretty decent advantage of his playing days.
Yeah, but you squander it. I mean, you build up all that goodwill and credit, and then you just all of a sudden at the end of the day, you piss it away.
Yes, that I would agree with.
Yeah.
He could have been, America's favorite character.
Could have been Peyton Manning.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Peyton Manning's the perfect example of a guy who, it just took great advantage of not only his playing skills but also his personality, and made a great living at it, and is an enjoyable person to listen to, and that kind of thing. So
yes, I would agree with all that. Since he retired from the game, he's been a little iffy. Where he could have been like a Peyton Manning character, doing all the commercials, being that character. They're going to talk about, in this documentary, his rise to fame and the scandals that have plagued his reputation in the years since. Legal battles, personal issues. Oh, they're going to dig up all the dirt, Cubby.
All the dong shots.
I wonder if that'll...
The Crocs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are getting into that topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go back down to the bayou, you just do bayou stuff. That's a good couple.
You can take the man out of the bayou, you're saying?
That's what you can. I'm telling you.
I am very intrigued because I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm super excited to see how crocodiles have to deal with it.
Croc shoes.
Croc shoes?
He sent a D-pic to a female Jets employee, and you could see his Crocs. In the background of the photo.
That's how they knew it was him.
Another reason to hate Crocs, I guess.
I was at Winter Park.
That was a monster story.
I was at at Winter Park when he was first asked about it because, starting quarterbacks, they do a weekly press conference. It's not just like a locker room scrum. So you had all these reporters from New York, and the press conference starts, and it's kind of like, oh, yeah, you got the Bears this week. Talk about that. Then finally some New York guy's like, Brett, what is your response to the allegations you sent a picture of your Johnson to Miss Sturgia? And everyone just kind of stopped and looked around. It was very uncomfortable.
Was it well known at that point, or that was the guy breaking the news?
No, it had just broke.
So did he answer the question?
Yeah. He just said no comment.
Oh, no comment.
Mm-hmm. He gave the no comment route, but it was very uncomfortable. If I remember correctly, his wife was up there with him, too, for some reason.
No.
All right, well, if you're like Ashley and you don't know what the hell we're talking about, many years ago when he was playing for the New York Jets, there was a sexual misconduct scandal. A reporter for the Jets by the name of Jen Sturger.
Yep.
There were allegations that he sent her explicit text messages, voicemails, and lewd photos. And for this Sturger lady, she said it was a career killer. She said, my life was ruined. He went on to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And there were investigations and fines, and they didn't find solid evidence, and this and that, and it went from there. So that was one of the Brent scandals. Oh, this is a hilarious text right here. More anxiety than hair Jesus. You guys want to hear how the year 20 and 25 can somehow creep all the way back to 1912? More anxiety than hair Jesus has texted to ask us, have you ever heard the conspiracy theory that the Titanic was sunk on purpose?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I've read about it. Yes.
Oh, please.
Is there any...
Yes. The guy that built it, the financier, was supposed to be on the Titanic, and his 2 or 3 other rivals of the richest men in the world were on that ship. The guy decided at the last minute not to go on the trip. It was his boat.
So who steered it into the iceberg then?
He sent
well,
the
they're saying that it maybe they're saying it maybe it wasn't necessarily the iceberg.
Oh. It wasn't the.
Yeah.
So the theory is that
there's articles about that.
I'm sure there's articles about all kinds of things, Randy Shaver, and I'm sure you've seen those.
I'm just saying I know what you're referring to.
Oh, I understand.
I've read.
Well, you sounded almost enthusiastic and in agreement.
No, I'm just saying I'm referring to the things that I read about it.
So the theory is that this rich guy went ahead and killed hundreds of people so he could be the only rich guy.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, that's what happened. I mean, he did want to be the richest guy.
He did end up being the richest guy.
An insurance
He's going to kill babies and everyone so he can be the rich guy.
Sometimes everybody else is collateral damage. You're just trying to get. There was 3 other people were on there that he needed to get rid of, and I'm sorry, you just can't. It would have looked suspicious if just those 3 would have died.
Fascinating.
And everybody else.
There had to be another way.
Right. Everybody. I mean, what's her name survived on the...
Rose,
yeah.
She did.
Yeah, because she hogged the door to herself.
Yeah, that was sad.
She's a door hog.
That was sad, man. Like, he could have fit.
Yeah.
He could have fit.
I do like that movie. I mean, it goes on too long, but...
Wait long. Especially when you know the ending.
Right?
Just get
that's so true.
When you were watching it, I still thought, well, it can't sink. Look at this movie. There's no way it's going to sink, even knowing the ending.
In 1998, when there were 6, what was it, 6 or 8 when that came out? 5. Maybe it was 5. Those special effects were pretty impressive. Now, when you watch it, you kind of laugh a little bit, just like all the older movies. Not that 95 was all that long ago. I mean, look at something from the 70s. You really giggle your ass off. But...
Right.
You guys know that I love a dark story. I like a terrible ending. So there's a lot that I do like about that movie.
Did you see what Bill Hader had to say about the movie Titanic this week?
Well, first off, who's Bill Hader?
Comedian, actor, Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live.
Very
great
guy.
Okay.
You'd know him if you saw him.
Okay.
He was telling a story about back in the day when Titanic came out. He was working at a movie theater. Mm-hmm. Some sorority girls came in all excited, wearing their Titanic T-shirts, going to see the big movie, and they were really rude to him, in fact, telling him he looked like Charles Manson.
Oh.
And so as they got their popcorn, they're walking in, he goes, by the way, the ship sinks and Leo dies. Enjoy the movie.
So yesterday was the damn anniversary, if that's what you call it. Okay.
Yeah.
Today.
Today, sorry. Yeah, today. All right, there you go. Randy Shaver, you've done wonderful things as usual. You have?
Well, that's questionable, but thank you.
Yeah.
Never thought that's how we'd end the sports break today.
With Titanic?
Yeah.
I never understand where we're going every day in this show.
Well, that's kind of how
sometimes we don't even know when the show's going to start.
So
that's
you're,
right.
So you're
That's
saying
the
it's like a
beauty.
normal conversation.
Exactly.
Well, that's a compliment.
Yes, it's what makes it so much fun. You
Oh.
never know where you're going to end up.
Blacktop Mojo Mofo Jesus wants to know who's pitching today for the Minnesota Titanics.
Wow.
I had never heard that conspiracy theory.
I didn't know there was conspiracy theory at all.
I'm a fan of that.
Does this mean the poll ads are trying to sink the Twins?
Here we go.
That's something I'd understand.
Here we go.
We'll let you go there, Hot Shot. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See ya.
We'll be back in a few minutes. See Willi Myles will be returning with us on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.
Bravo TV star Lala Kent holds nothing back.
There's been so many times where I'm like, I apologize that I said that, but that wasn't meant for you to hear.
Feel you there.
How fun would it be to bring in some Bravo celebrities and make our own bracket?
Iconic.
All right, I'll take Dorinda, you take Sonia.
Sonia is who I wish I could be.
You and me both. I cannot be someone in the program. What's PTO?
Pay time off. See?
Oh.
You've never had a real job.
Give them Lala.
It is nothing but honesty.
You guys know.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
All right, here's the damn deal. We welcome you back to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. It's a wonderful day. It's always wonderful when C. Willi Myles ducks into Jaw Jack with us for a little while. You doing well, C. Willi?
Absolutely, my friends.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. You know, we got to talking about the story of the Titanic a few minutes ago. Well, what was it, 113 some odd years ago? We're sitting on the exact date of the Titanic sinking 113 years ago. I think I have the right arithmetic there. I just learned, and Josh just learned, that there are hysterical conspiracy theories connected to the sinking of the Titanic. I had no idea.
I'd never heard that before. And I've lived on this flat earth for 50 years. And no one has ever said a word to me about that.
I thought we were still hung up on COVID and elections around here. I didn't think we had time to focus on other conspiracies. The Titanic theory, brand new to me, but apparently it's been out there for many, many years. Some rich guy wanted to kill everyone else.
Kill his competition.
He wanted to kill his competition. He wanted to be the only rich guy. So, yeah, let's go ahead and dump a bunch of women and babies into the ocean so I can be the one with season tickets to the Yankees or whatever the hell, whatever was going on in 1912. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's first. I can't believe I've never even heard there was a conspiracy. I should have known there's conspiracies for everything, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I had no idea.
But given how big some of them are, like the moon landing one, you would think that the Titanic one would come up more often.
Oh, yeah, the moon landing, that never happened.
Yeah, we know that.
It's all a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It is. It's been fun. Like I said, this blindsided me. I had no idea. Oh, so in some of the conversations I'm having via the text machine with some of our listeners, good times. Good time. No, I mean, I appreciate it. I appreciate your point of view. It's fun. So the Titanic story turned into a very profitable motion picture starring Billy Zane.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a good prick.
Yeah.
He does.
Kate Winslet,
Lenny DiCaprio.
Leonardo.
Who else was in? All-timer, right? One of the top grossing movies of all. I'm the King of the World. Draw me like one of your French girls. Those would be the more
Classic.
famous quotes from the movie.
I
was
going to say, I love the movie, and it's one of those ones where if I see it's on, I'm definitely going to hang around for at least a little bit, but it is very traumatizing for me to see that motion picture still after all these years.
It is?
I first saw it when it came out in 7th grade. It was hotter than hot. Every showing on a Saturday would be sold out. My parents and I go to see it as a family. Half the school's in this movie theater. and I'm sitting right in front of the two twin sisters that were like the hottest girls in our grade.
Word.
And watching the movie and enjoying it, and then, that tasteful nude scene comes up. It's not Wild Things or striptease. It's pretty tastefully done.
Sure.
So do you think Sue Wessel just lets her kid see a pair of boobs on screen? No, she closed my eyes. She held her hands over my eyes.
No, she didn't. Not as a 7th grader.
Well, I was sitting there and in front of the two prettiest girls in the damn school.
Wow.
And she's sitting there covering my eyes.
No boobs for you.
No boobs for me, Ashley.
I would never encourage violence against anybody's mother, but I think in that moment, I would have punched my mother in the lip.
Oh, it was traumatizing.
Man, I can't believe you still invited her to the wedding? I'd have been I'd be petty. I'd be that petty.
Well, he did in his speech afterwards mention that he's seen his wife's boobs and dared his mom to do anything about it. Well, I cover my eyes now, Mom.
Take that, Mom.
Boobs every night.
I would have given my mother a fat lip in that situation as a 7th grader.
Well, at least a broken rib. Gave her one right quick. Come on.
Just a jab to the ribs. Here's what I have for you now. How about a test? You're all going to be tested.
Wonderful.
Oh, I think you'll do fine. See, Willi Myles. You don't like tests? Who does?
Hey, my GPA said I don't like tests.
What I have in front of me are apparently movie quotes that defined generations. It's a very dramatic title. Movie quotes that defined generations. Every last one of you knows these friggin' movie titles. Matter of fact, I don't even think I need to get through all of the words for you to shout out the correct answer. Just name the movie when you know the quote, okay? It says here, some movie quotes don't just stay in their films. They escape into the real world, becoming everyday catchphrases, viral memes, and inside jokes that never seem to fade. Okay, so I'm telling you, I don't even think I need to. Are you ready, Dana?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think I need to get through all of them, all of the words in these famous movie quotes for you to answer with the correct movie. May.
Star Wars.
Oh, duh.
The Force be with you. Star Wars, 1977.
I was thinking of the month at first.
Yeah, me too.
Right. I need more context.
Yeah.
In this next movie quote, I think I'll have to do 2 words, maybe 4. 4 at the most. Okay, be ready. Shout it out. I love. Okay, that didn't get you. The smell
of napalm in the morning.
Yeah, Apocalypse Now.
1979. Robert, what the hell's his last name? He's still around, isn't he? God dang, the
Duvall?
actor. Duvall.
Robert Duvall.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Apocalypse Now. Watched it once all the way through, but it was so long ago. But it's still regarded as one of the greatest ever. Okay, this one, 2 words I think I have to get through before you can pounce on it. You talking.
Taxi driver.
Nice word. What did you say?
Taxi driver.
Taxi driver. 1976, Robert De Niro. Yep.
Yeah.
I think I'll need 3 here. Leave the gun. All right, I'll wrap it up. Take the cannoli.
Is it a mobster movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never heard this before.
The Godfather.
I've never seen that movie. I mean, I know some quotes from it, but is that a popular quote from that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard it said.
Yeah, there's a scene where they have to kill somebody, and there's a car sitting in there. Anyway, I've never seen it all the way through either, but I'm well aware of that one. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Say hello to my little friend.
Guy from the Mall of America.
Guy from the Mall of America.
Guy from the Mall of America, Scarface.
Guy from the Mall of America. Yeah. Yes, Scarface.
There was a guy who used to work at the Mall of America that one of our sales guys, Blaze. He would always call him Scarface.
Of course he did.
Oh, that is so Blaze.
And then eventually, when it became like, when the Mall of America would pay their advertising money, he'd call the money Scarface.
Yes.
Hey, did you see the Scarface? Did you guys get your Scarface?
Did you talk to Scarface?
Yep.
The actual person.
I love him.
And then if the next question was, did we receive the money he owed us, he would say, did you get your Scarface? Yes. This guy did not look at all like Al Pacino, nor do we believe that he was sitting on tops of mountains of cocaine and money. He did not have a scar.
Yeah, no scar on
but
his
he was just this hot-shot, wheeling and dealing businessman. So I thought that was a brilliant nickname for the guy.
I love that, too.
Life moves pretty
Ferris
fast.
Bueller's.
There it is.
All I had to...
I knew that was going to be coming. That's such a huge quote.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We're rolling through supposed movie quotes that define generations, and I think it's pretty fair to say. You can't handle
A Few Good Men. A Few Good Men.
Yep.
Never saw it.
Good movie.
Oh, you haven't?
I get my balls busted every time.
Gosh.
Wow.
I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Never saw it. I'm just not a Tom Cruise guy. Despite I know he's got a cabin up on Cross Lake and he's always at the bars up there. But
you like Jack Nicholson?
Yes, I do. Love
That's
Jack.
why I
He's great in
watched
that
it.
movie.
I'll be back.
Terminator.
Sometimes you don't even need all the words. How you doing over there, Ashley?
Well, you said that these are movie quotes that define generations.
Not your generation.
Is it my generation?
Not yours.
No, nothing yet.
Nothing for Ashley yet.
Yeah, we got 4 in the 70s so far. I got your 80s.
Maybe it should have just been it defined a generation, not generations, because Ashley is hopeless.
Although, A Few Good Men came out when I was maybe a junior in high school, and Ashley was still negative something at that point.
Yeah.
All right, I'll only need one word for this. Show.
Jerry
the
Maguire.
money.
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire. I'm asking you to give me the movie, not wrap up the quote for me.
Dana, you're not playing correct.
Yes.
Ah, dang it! I get excited.
You name the. This one's a little more difficult. All right.
Oh,
is that the Matthew
it's
McConaughey
Matthew McConaughey,
movie?
but what movie is that from?
All right.
Dazed and Confused.
Oh, yeah. The
yeah.
drug movie. I've never seen Dazed and Confused.
Oh, it's very funny.
Somebody told me it was overrated.
They're full of it.
Are they wrong?
Is that the same movie where he says the thing about high school girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have thought maybe that direct quote would have stood out a little more than all right, where he says, that's what I love about high school girls. I keep getting older and they stay the same age.
My favorite line he has in that movie is when the young kid, Mitch, he asks Mitch, he goes, "Hey, Mitch, you got a joint?" And he goes, no, not on me. And he goes, "Be a lot cooler if you did."
Oh, yeah.
So I know these quotes from. I didn't know the context there, but haven't seen the movie.
I really think you would enjoy it,
You'd
Josh.
love it. It's a hell of a lot of fun.
I'll put that on my list.
A lot of
You're on the list.
cool cars, cool clothes. It's the last day of high school in 1976.
Soundtrack just absolutely crushes it.
A lot of marijuana. The poor guy that gets stabbed through the heart in Saving Private Ryan is in the movie.
I can't watch that scene.
And you get to watch. That's why I like watching him in Dazed and Confused, because he does not get stabbed through the heart slowly and painfully.
Oh my gosh, that scene was so tough.
My precious.
Lord of the Rings.
One of them, I don't know which one.
It's not about how hard.
Rocky Balboa.
It's not about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. Rambo was on last night, and what I mean is the one from not
just the plain Rambo.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, plain Rambo.
Yeah, that was a good one.
This one I'll just give you the whole works because it's so short. I Am McLovin.
Super bad.
Bad.
I would have been totally lost on this one, and My Precious, but why so serious?
Dark Knight.
Oh, yeah, that's the Batman, Christian Bale. What's his nuts that played that? He passed away. That was the Joker, right?
Yeah, why am I blanking on his name, too?
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon.
There it is.
Correct.
Are you not entertained?
Oh, that's
Gladiator.
And I got to tell this story again.
I love that one.
The final entry into this report on movie quotes that defined generations. The final quote is, "This is Sparta," from the movie 300. If you weren't listening right away this morning, a listener sent a very funny text. He was talking about shopping for beds with his wife. And so they were at a bed store is the only term that I can come up with. A mattress store, whatever. And his wife had her back to a bed. Wife had her back to the bed, and the husband was facing her. And he said, just for laughs, he kicked her in the chest. He screamed, "This is Sparta." He kicked her in the chest, and she landed on the bed. And he said he was the only one in the room who laughed at it.
That's so funny. I don't
That's
understand
legendary
nobody
right
else
there.
laughed.
I'd be sleeping on the couch for a while.
Really? Oh, I would respect that. I mean, it depends how
cot.
Depends how hard
in
he
a
kicked
prison.
me, I guess.
Yeah, in the chest? I heard that hurts.
Heath Ledger's the guy's name.
Yeah, I feel so dumb. It was right there.
That's one of those where it's so obvious you can't come up with it. Thank you, brother and sister.
Legend.
You did well. Yes, you were thinking of...
He was great, by the way, as the Joker.
Oh,
incredible.
So
Best Joker ever.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think he did. I just liked his delivery. He played it to the hilt.
He was a method actor, right?
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
And it was one of those things, too, where the message boards of comic book fans blew up when they announced that Heath Ledger, the guy from the teen romantic comedies, was going to be the Joker. Like, he can't be the Joker. He's the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You. And then he proved them wrong.
I'll tell you what, the internet still instantly judges people and situations. They do.
I have noticed that, yeah.
Social media still, to this day, will judge people and situations.
Like people that might have nothing to do with a decision that was made, and they go after those people?
It's a decent example right off the top of your head.
I don't know what you're even talking about.
Josh, if you don't mind, you said you've never watched Dazed plus Confused. If you don't mind hanging around a theater with a bunch of reefer addicts, Retired Before Randy Jesus has texted in to say somebody usually dumps Dazed and Confused back into the theaters on 420.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That makes sense.
Oh, I bet it just reeks like weed.
I loved it when the Uptown movie theater is still around. They would do midnight movies every Friday and Saturday night. Think of classic movies.
Oh, cool.
Like Back to the Future and things like that. It'd be a lot of fun. Drunk crowd in there hooting and hollering, having a blast. It was a lot of fun.
We're about to tap dance smooth out of this nightmare. See, Willi Myles, you're going to get us out of here by telling folks what's going on with you. Well, first things first, while we were prepping ourselves for our final conversation, I overheard you and Ashley jaw-jacking back and forth about puppy yoga. What's going on with you?
Well, see, Willi was talking about how he does yoga.
You do
so we
yoga?
bonded over that, and I asked if he's ever tried that.
Have you ever tried puppy?
No. She said it's not even yoga. You just lay on the floor and play with puppies.
Yeah, you can't really focus on yoga because if you try to do a certain move, next thing you know, you have a puppy right under you just trying to get some kisses.
Am I the only guy in town who's not going to yoga class twice a day?
It seems like it's pretty popular.
I don't go, but I see it everywhere. People are always posting photos of them with puppies and goats and all sorts of things.
It's very nice,
really?
very calming.
So I assume just regular yoga, they're posting photos, but no, the ones with animals?
Yeah, they're popular.
Yoga memberships are pretty expensive.
Yeah, they are.
Yoga memberships, you can't just do it in your own home?
Well, so actually, that's funny that you say that because I've complained about the price.
No, you can't do it in your own home. I forgot Josh's wife teaches yoga. No, you cannot do yoga in your own home. You have to get a professional to show you how to. Sorry, Ashley, go ahead.
No, you're good. I've complained about the prices of the yoga memberships, and my fiance says the same thing. Well, can't you just look up a YouTube video, do it at home? But it's different.
Okay.
Being in the environment, it smells a certain way.
That's what I hear. Yeah, I hear it smells a certain way.
Very flatulent.
Yeah, it smells like we were talking about, like incense.
Our boss posts a photo every Sunday night of that class he does with your wife, Josh, and all these sweaty people. I can smell that photo just from seeing it on my phone.
Yeah, I've heard of the smells. So is it something that you think has truly benefited your overall health, C. Willi Myles?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, as an entertainer, when you're walking on stages every night, different type of stage, like woods, like pine and oak, and you know what I mean?
Sure.
Sometimes you're on carpet, sometimes you're on cement, and that gets your lower back.
Okay.
So yoga really helps you, and it helps with my golf. Just
100%.
my overall health, just your flexibility.
You're a flexible guy.
Yeah, pretty good. I'm pretty decent for my age.
My wife makes fun of me. She says I have the flexibility of some of her 90-year-old clients. Right. And some of them are more flexible than I am.
When people have asked me why I do yoga, I always say I never want there to be a time in my life where I can't touch my toes.
Absolutely. Exactly.
You're going to have that in just a couple of months.
I said that. I know. I don't like it. I've already lost a little bit of my flexibility, and it's making me angry.
My nephew's going to get in the way.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to be able to bend all the way over.
My flexibility is for squat at this point. People texting in about goat yoga, cat yoga.
I don't do none of that type.
Paddle board yoga.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how
that's
people do
hard.
that.
I see that all the time. There's a lake
huge.
by our house that people are out there doing that.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge in California when we lived out in Newport. A lot of people doing it, paddleboard. My wife wanted to do it.
I saw it once in person. I was on my boat, and we were cruising into Wayzata Bay on Lake Minnetonka. and I see what looked to me from a distance, it appeared to be bodies floating on the water.
Out there.
Floating on the water. I had never heard of paddle boat yoga. Mm-hmm. What did I just say? Paddle board yoga.
Board, yeah.
I assumed that there had been a terrible boating accident and bodies were floating on the surface of the water, and I was going to be the first one on scene. But no, they were all lying. At least for starters, they were lying flat on their backs on their paddle boards like they were dead.
Yep.
What's the term? There's a term there, mesmerizing isn't the word.
Meditating?
Meditating,
right.
Thank you. It appeared they were meditating, preparing for their paddleboard yoga. So I have seen it once in person.
Superfat 7XL Jesus said you can't do yoga in your own home. If other people don't see you doing it, you aren't cool.
Yeah, you got to be seen walking from your car to the yoga spot, carrying the mat all rolled up nicely.
Okay.
Get a nice towel.
You got to put out the vibe that tells society, look, I'm taking care of myself.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because if you just do it at home, you're just lying. Nobody believes you.
See, Willie, could you plug your ears with your big toes?
Absolutely not. And even if I could, I wouldn't tell anybody. That'd be my own little secret.
Dude, I'm totally going to go home and try that now.
Oh, no, I don't want to be responsible for something that happens to you, Ashley. Don't try that.
That's not something any guy should be bragging about.
I don't think anybody can do it. I'm just joking around. Here's someone asking if any of us have tried Kama Sutra. Now we're talking sex.
No.
No, that's silly. That stuff is...
I've seen the book, but I've never paged through the book.
Oh, I remember.
Doing too much.
When I was a kid, I looked through that stuff, and I thought, well, this is just silly. It's totally unnecessary, for God's sake. Man. But you're a yoga guy, see?
Yeah, have been. And honestly, my wife got me into it back about almost 15 years ago.
You're one of the OGs.
Right. I've been doing it. I did start doing it with her.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of got into it. So I would go to classes without her. When she was on the road or when I was on the road, I'd find a place to go and I would go and do it. And it really, man, I'm telling you, it helped my body 100%.
Well, that's good to hear. I'll pass. I'll continue to pass and be the least flexible guy in Hennepin County and have to struggle to put my own shoes on and things like that.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
It's just... So before we go, see, Willie, is there any updates on shows or anything you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, man, I got my last big show coming up. My final show in St. Cloud at the Paramount Theater. That's where I'm going to be May 2nd, Friday, May 2nd, 7:30. With my good friend, the legendary singer-songwriter, Mr. Fred Steele's going to open the show for me. And so I'll be back in St. Cloud, my last time performing at the Paramount. So if you want to see me one more time at the Paramount, get a ticket, and that's going to be it. I'm putting a bow on this career, man. Full time.
Good for you, man.
Oh, I didn't save it, but there was a listener that texted in way earlier in the show when we said that you were coming in today, and they sent us a picture of a ticket to that show.
Oh,
so I know
right?
that they're very excited. Yeah.
Got a lot of 93X fans up in St. Cloud. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I love being on you guys' show, man. Every time I go to a show, and I got people already bought tickets for my June show at Crooners for the comedy festival that they're bringing back in, and I'm headlining the first night, and then I'm hosting the rest of the week.
Oh, fun!
We love having you, and we always have people asking about you and asking about where you can be seen. So our listeners,
you got good listeners, man. I mean,
they're
honestly,
good people.
They show up everywhere.
There's a few wild cards, but overall they're good people.
Oh, we're lucky, super lucky.
Yeah,
it's a good group of folks.
Yeah, like I said, my last show last week or at Crooners sold out. It was half of my room. We're 93. They literally, I couldn't believe it.
You ever thought about, with one of your final shows, you ever thought about doing one of your shows while in a yoga pose?
Absolutely not.
No,
that wouldn't. I can't breathe when I'm in those things. I love to tell you go ahead and relax. I'm like, I'm almost upside down.
What if they paid you $10 more at the door after your comedy show is over? You lead a yoga class.
Oh, I'll do that.
Yeah.
You think you could now?
Lead a yoga class?
Yeah, you've
Absolutely.
done it enough. You know the stuff.
Oh yeah. I will be totally off script. I'll do it backwards. Actually, that's what I would love to do.
Yoga first, and then relax
first, and then do the yoga. We do the lay on your back flat for 2 minutes first. and then get going.
Okay. Hey, see Willie, he can plug his ears with his toes. I knew it.
I'm not doing that.
Thanks, C. Willie.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you, guys. Always great to be in with you guys.
Happy birthday to Got My Ass Kicked in Pine City, Jesus. Happy Dirty 30 plus 1 to Offended Millennial, Jesus. Let's see here. Oh, shoot. This got cut off. Some sort of tech, Jesus. I'm sorry. Your text got cut off. Checking in. It's his birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy belated 18th birthday to Braden. Thank you for the time you gave us today. You deserve better. I mean, here's the thing. You deserve better, but you still listened, and we really appreciated it. Have a great rest of your tax day.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
You gotta be kidding me. Who greenlit this garbage?
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Well, there's my beautiful podcast, people. Everybody good? All right, great to hear. Thanks, as always, for listening to the podcast. And, of course, thanks to our friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning for making it all possible. Can we believe it's April already? And like the old saying goes, April showers brings gross, disgusting humidity and heat in May. Beat the heat and the summer rush. Have Standard Heating and Air Conditioning out to work on that AC soon. April is the best month to get your air conditioning wrenched on before the huge summer rush starts. So get on that today. Go to standardheating.com and schedule that AC tune-up. Thanks for listening. We love you podcasters. Enjoy the show.